do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NCAA and the American Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship from student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We ask for your cooperation by supporting today's participants in a positive manner. Please be aware that any profanity, racial, ethnic, sexist, or offensive comments, or any other intimidating actions directed at student athletes, coaches, or game officials will not be tolerated or grounds for immediate removal from respective duty. Thank you, and enjoy the game.
Day 2 of the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve. Coming to you live from Spectrum Field in Clearwater, Florida. Today, 4 teams are battling to extend their stays in the conference tournament. We've got a fantastic matchup to kickstart this afternoon. A pair of top 5 seeds in East Carolina and the University of Houston. Let's take a recap from day 1. Starting it all off, UConn played tight with Houston. It was the Huskies who had the last laugh, walking them off and winning 4-3. East Carolina and Wichita State, the Shockers played with a better sense of urgency and got the win 6-2, upsetting the regular season champions. Memphis falls to Cincinnati 11-6. The Bearcats win their first ever conference tournament game in the American, and Tulane pulls ahead of UCF and wins over the Knights 5-2. Welcome in, everyone. Let's bring you in live with today's games. Houston, the 5 seed, against East Carolina, our regular season champions. And then later tonight, Memphis will take on UCF. Both of these elimination games. Win or go home. Day 2 here in Clearwater. We welcome you in. Garrett Walbert, Jeff Brightwell, and Haley Outen on the broadcast for you today. It really was UConn that had the last laugh yesterday. A great competitive game against Houston, but the Cougars here find themselves in unfamiliar territory.
They had to get that last at-bat yesterday. A 4-5 game, you never know how to go. So not a big surprise. It could have been Houston, could have been UConn. Houston today has to play with that sense of urgency. Right now they're a bubble team. It would be big if they beat ECU today to solidify their case. Meanwhile, ECU looks like they're good for a host site. They want a national seed. They need to win a game or two now in this tournament, I think, to make their case to continue to get that national seed.
The Pirates have lost just 14 games all season. One of the most talented teams not only in this conference, but across the country. It'll be exciting to see how they match up today with the Cougars for the 4th time this season. What are their keys for victory?
ECU got a battle at the plate as Wichita State on the mound kept them all balanced all afternoon. Had to continue to play solid in the field.
Houston was a win away in the regular season from finishing as the runner-up in the conference. What do they need to do to win?
Well, they got a few swings off, but not enough to beat UConn yesterday. They're going to have to hit up and down the order. They're going to put Jared Triolo and put him right behind Joe Davis again today, moving Joe into the 2nd spot to get some extra at-bats. On the mound, though, they've got to keep the freebies down. Limit those walks. Don't give up free bases.
The Pirates have a sophomore star in the outfield in Alec Burleson.
How good's Alec Burleson? We saw him throw yesterday. Also saw him hit. He's going to be in the field today. He was on 2 all-conference teams. 1st team outfield. 2nd team for his diversity, being able to play the field and to pitch.
You see Burleson with 2 hits and 2 RBIs yesterday against the Shockers. For the Houston Cougars, Jared Triolo has been hot this season, one of the better third basemen in the conference.
Very slick in the field. He was an all-conference performer, 2 for 4 yesterday, a .327 hitter. He's got to provide some protection in that order.
A great matchup coming your way. We'll have the starting lineups and more about these 2 teams when we return on the American Digital Network. Stay with us, folks. Day 2 almost underway.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve our time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Here's your lineup for the ECU Pirates. You take a look, and for ECU, 4 underclassmen in the starting lineup with Packard, Brown, and Washer leading things off. Brickhouse, last year's most outstanding player in Clearwater, will hit cleanup. Baker, Lloyd, and Francisco, who was a defensive replacement last game, followed by Connor Norby and Ryder Giles. Houston will counter today with Clay Aguilar, the left-handed freshman. Jeff, he's got pretty good numbers on the year. You love to see a rookie who's been so successful have a chance to make his name known here in a conference tournament.
64 innings this year for Aguilar, the freshman left-hander, 6-3, 295, 15 outings, 12 starts, 64 innings, 55 hits, 25 runs, 21 earned, 21 walks to 70 Ks on the year. He's holding opponents to a .235 average against, 3 wild pitches. Has hit 8 batters this year, but I really like the 70 punch-outs.
Let's set the defense for the Houston Cougars in the outfield from left to right. Way, Bilamovich in center, and Lockhart, yesterday's starting pitcher, in right. Triolo, Highland, Burkle, and Joe Davis across the infield with Kyle Lovelace behind the plate. For Houston, 6 upperclassmen in the starting lineup today. The pitcher, Aguilar, a freshman, he's joined by a couple of rookies in Derek Cherry as well as Brad Burkle. Beautiful day for baseball here on Florida's Gulf Coast. We're glad you're with us on the American Digital Network. Let's get underway. East Carolina, I don't know if you had to kind of diagnose what happened to them yesterday. Just didn't come out maybe with the sense of urgency they needed against Wichita State, the 8th seed, but here they find themselves in an elimination game. First pitch by Aguilar, swung through for strike 1.
It was kind of a strange game yesterday between both ball clubs. Both had opportunities throughout the ball game, but really the offenses didn't come awake until late in the game. Wichita State got a couple of swings off, and then we saw ECU in the 9th inning nearly rally to tie that ball game up. They had Brickhouse, who they wanted at the plate with a chance for a big hit, but just grounded out the second to end the game.
Here's Bryant Packard, first team all-conference in the outfield for the Pirates. Works himself even in the count, 1-1. A couple of left-handed at-bats for Cliff Godwin's offense. Aguilar gets called strike 2 quickly.
We're really a lot riding on this game for both teams. And it is important for ECU not to go 0-2 in the tournament. Still maybe able to go under that national seed, but it would help their case to win a game or two, maybe get to Saturday coming in. They're playing with their backs against the wall. Houston, meanwhile, going 0-2, sitting there around 40, could really soften that bubble for them.
There's Packard, struck out to get things going by Aguilar. He's now 0 for 4 in this tournament.
Well, he's labored a little bit early on here. They'll have to get that bat going. They've got talent up and down the order. Obviously, with the 42 wins, the most talented team right now are playing just the best overall this season, head and shoulders above the rest. Really nice slaughter that time, down and away, and really fooled Packard.
Turner Brown in yesterday's contest, batting out of the 5-hole today. They move him up to the 2. He singled and was 1 for 4. .90 miles an hour on the fastball there.
Well, Brown very valuable to this ball club. Not only just a solid hitter, he can move the ball all around the field. Very smooth defender, very accurate.
In the regular season, it was ECU that took 2 out of 3 from Houston, including a 15-3 defeat. High chopper, third base side. Triolo with a strong throw. Gets by Joe Davis's glove, and moving into second base, turning on the Jets is Turner Brown.
Imagine we may see an infield single and an error will be the call. We'll double check and see.
But that ball jumped off the ground like a trampoline. Took forever to get down to Triolo.
Yeah, tough. He's got some speed. So it looks like that will be an infield single and an error.
Early runner in scoring position for the Pirates. And now Alec Burleson will come to the plate. Touched on him in the open. Burleson 2 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. Aguilar stares in now with Brown on base behind him. Swings at one that's a little elevated, 89 miles an hour. You know, if anybody's the most well-positioned to come out of the loser's bracket, it might be East Carolina with all of the pitching that they still have in terms of their starters that would be available to try and get them to Sunday's championship game.
If I was going to guess, I would say you're going to get a third game on Saturday. Just because the depth, as you mentioned, they are the team, especially on the mound, with their starting rotation, they can get you through a tournament. Usually it's pitching depth that can determine early in a conference tournament if you're going to be able to make your way through.
Burleson goes after this one. Nice placement there by the freshman Aguilar. Quickly heading the count 0-2. Sun comes out from behind the clouds high above us in Clearwater. Just got a piece of that one. Looked like the exact same pitch. Last season, Burleson as a freshman, All-American honors from collegiate baseball. He was the conference rookie pitcher of the year. Nice to have two-way players. Can't everybody be a two-way player? That's what the coaches are saying. Hey, can you pitch? Great.
Pitchers always want to take batting practice, and the lineup guys always want to show the coaches how hard they can throw on the mound.
Aguilar still ahead in the count. Deals to Burleson. Pops this one up. Left center field. I think Bilamovic has the beat, and he does. That'll send Brown back to second. So a dangerous bat silenced early on.
Well, when howling out to right field. Yesterday, the ball jumped off the bat early in the day. Kind of settled down in the afternoon games. Picked back up in the evening game between Tulane and UCF. So ball won't jump quite like it will early in the morning and then late at evening.
Aguilar staring in against the next batter, Jake Washer. First pitch, Washer won't offer it that. Let's go down onto the field with Haley Outen.
So we have some fans commenting, asking the question as to how seeding is determined, why the #1 seed in ECU is actually the away team today. And the conference follows the same policy as the NCAA regional. So it has to do with how many times your team has been home and away. And since Houston was the away team yesterday and ECU was the home team, the Cougars get to have that honor today.
Thank you, Haley. Clear that up. This one sent right back up the middle. Could be an early RBI. Washer has driven in a man from second. Brown stomps on home plate. It's 1-0 early, ECU.
Well, that's exactly what the Pirates need here today. After, I know, a disappointing loss to the 8th seed yesterday, they need to come out. They need to get the early lead here, get some confidence, some momentum back in that dugout, and Washer just drives it right back up the middle, off the glove of Aguilar. Got a little bit of leather on it, but not enough.
Turner Brown scores his first run of the conference tournament. And the Pirates in the first inning up 1-0. Love that.
Nice to score a run, get a ride into the dugout.
Spencer Brickhouse announced. Kind of checks his swing, goes through this one for strike one. Brickhouse hitting .331, one of the leaders on this program, and another dangerous left-handed at-bat.
0 for 4 yesterday.
He did draw a walk and eventually come around to score a run. This one's pulled to the right side. Davis takes it himself unassisted, and that's the end of the inning, but not before one run comes across on 2 hits, 1 man left on. Houston will try and answer East Carolina when we return here live in Clearwater.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further. Let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express. Every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Let's take a look at the Houston Cougars lineup today. Pretty intense with Lockhart, Davis, and Triolo at the top of the order. Bilamovich will clean up and play in right field. Derek Cherry, a true freshman, batting 5th as the DH. Blake Way, Brad Burkell, Kyle Lovelace, and Kobe Highland will round it out 1 through 9 for the Cougars. Starting pitcher today, well, he's one of the best you'll see in this conference. Jake Agnos, the pitcher of the year in 2019.
Should feel fairly fresh here today. He pitched last Thursday in the 19-10 win over Memphis. In fact, when he left, I believe they were up 17-0 or 17-2. So he only had to throw 85 pitches last week in his Thursday start. He's 8-2 at 2.06 ERA, 14 outings, all starts, 83 innings, 61 hits, 22 runs, only 19 earned, 34 walks, 124 strikeouts, and less than a 200 average against at 199. 9 wild pitches and 9 hit batters on the year.
Here's the defense for the Pirates from left to right in the outfield. Packard, Lloyd, and Burleson on the infield. Giles at the hot corner, Brown at short, Connor Norby at second, and Spencer Brickhouse with good size at first base. Jake Washer behind the plate. The 124 strikeouts in the season, the new record in the American. Pretty impressive by the left-hander starting today for ECU. Agnos goes 5'11", 207 pounds, a native of Haymarket, Virginia. And he will get things started against Lyle Lockhart, who started on the mound yesterday for the Cougars. Lockhart hitting .215 in his junior season, 23 hits and 107 at-bats. Right on top of the plate in the back of the box, and takes a look at a fastball for ball 1. Lockhart today can really just focus on being up at the plate. And now he's even in the count 1-1. Tough to have your attention span divided when you've got a start pitch. You've also got to get out there and bat. 1-1 popped up right side, mile in the air to Burleson. Shades the sun and dropped it. Lockhart's on his horse. He's going to have to stop at second base, but he's got himself in scoring position on a hustle play, and Burleson lost that one high above.
Maybe a costly error out there in right field. It's a tough time of the day. Had it tracked down right to him. And in the sun, you can tell him, see him pleading out there. Just lost it. Here he goes. He's tracking it down to his left. And just lost it at the last second. It went in, right in and out, popped out.
Went over the top of his glove. For Burleson, that's the first error of 2019. So both clubs with an error in the first inning. Now Joe Davis, who's already got 1 home run in this tournament, takes a look at a fastball inside at 91.
Well, now with the freebie, you got to risk throwing to Joe Davis. Got a swing off yesterday, he had a home run, and Jared Triolo right behind him, a 2-hit day yesterday.
Davis with 18 bombs on the year now, hitting .301. Inside again.
And I like what Todd Whitting does, putting him second in the order. A lot of times this guy's going to hit 3, 4, and 5 traditionally. Your second guy is a bunt guy, move a runner around. But with the power he has, I want him to have that opportunity if I get my leadoff man on to go ahead and get a quick score.
Davis with a good eye at the plate. He drew a walk yesterday. Breaking ball falls across. Not his pitch. It's called strike one. Agnos, the pitcher of the year in the conference, first team selection. Set the school and conference records for strikeouts. Good hack there by Davis, but it's fouled down the third base side. What's really impressive, Jeff, he owns a 31 innings scoreless streak heading into these championships. Can't ask for more than that.
He's been outstanding. You talked about his strikeout numbers. The record he broke at ECU, it stood since 1961. Larry Creighton had that 119 Ks back in 61.
Great stat.
And as he gets some more starts, he'll have a start next week in a regional. If they can advance in that, he's approaching the all-time career lead in the American Conference, Seth Romero at 290. He is now only 26 strikeouts away.
Davis, the team leader in walks by a mile. He's got 42 on the year. Here's first base open. Will they challenge him? Fastball's in, and Davis takes his walk. So now 2 on and nobody out, and a little trouble for ECU brewing in the first.
Well, you wanted to limit the second opportunities, the free bases. You have an error to walk right now, and that's just not what you want to give away to the Houston Cougars.
Now Jared Triolo, who we previewed at the beginning of our broadcast, will come to the plate. Yesterday, 2 for 4 with a run scored. Tough to keep him off the base paths. Stands in with a healthy 327 average. Second on the team with 44 RBIs. Looks at called strike one.
Pair hits yesterday for the senior out of China, Texas, and Hardin Jefferson. 264 last year in 59 games, so he's really upped his game this season. Was on the All-Silver Glove Series team a season ago.
Hasn't taken the bat off his shoulder. He's fallen behind 0-2. Houston won the first game in this series 2-0, a shutout, and then ECU came back with a vengeance, winning 15-3 and 3-1 in the rubber match. Agnos breaks down his catcher Washer with that offering. Count goes to 1-2.
Has another pitch he can waste or set him up with. Triolo pretty good with runners on base, 305, really good in scoring position, 355 this season.
Lyle Lockhart standing off second base. Joe Davis drew a walk. He's on first. Now Triolo looking to hit it anywhere but up the middle for a double play. Fastball, 93 miles an hour, and he's set down. First strikeout of the game for Agnos.
Well, eyes got big on that one, went up after one way out of the zone. You'll see this one as you talked about Agnos really rearing back. That went up about neck high. It's hard to lay off of those.
He was committed, wanted to put the ball in play. Agnos got the best of him there. Now Tyler Bilamovich, the cleanup hitter, will stand in with 1 out. Bilamovich did get on track yesterday, 1 for 4, but he did strike out twice as well. Agnos working quickly, buzzes the tower. And Bilamovich is literally standing on the chalk line when he gets up there, right near the top of the plate. Wind's picked up a little bit, blowing through right center field right now. Boy, so much movement on that breaking ball when he wants to dial it back down from the low 90s, and that one was 76 miles an hour.
He's done a nice job so far changing speeds. Again, he struggled with the 1 walk, came back with a strikeout and an unfortunate error to start the ball game. Double play here, gets out of the game, keeps it fairly efficient, only faces 1 over the minimum.
A fly ball into right field is really going to travel here now. This one goes left side, popped up, shallow left field. Coming in is Packard, and he'll make the catch. Packard's got his shades on, not going to make a mistake there.
Well, he hit that one a mile high, got up under that one. He had it timed out about where he wanted to. Just left the barrel a little bit up under.
What a job by Agnos to battle after 2 guys get on with nobody out, working through the heart of the order. He's one out from getting out unscathed. Now he'll face the freshman, Derek Cherry.
Well, if you can get through this, you have Lloyd Francisco Norby, 6, 7, 8 in the Pirate order coming to the plate in the second.
Cherry still looking for his first hit here in the tournament in 2019. 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk. He got the breaking ball to start, and it misses the zone at 76 miles an hour. Runners come off the bags. They're not holding Davis at first. Cherry, this one gets away from Washer, but for whatever reason, Lockhart won't break, and probably a good idea. That one was just a couple of steps behind Washer at the dish.
That's a tough place to be for Lockhart. He can't see where the ball is either. It was right behind, and that was a good play by Washer. And again, as a catcher, the worst place for the ball to be is right up under. You look to your bench, and everyone's pointing at you, and you don't know what they're talking about, and they're saying it's right under you. You're looking over to, you're looking at the wall at third base, looking at the backstop, and hey, it's between my legs.
Agnos' fastball is high, 90 miles an hour. The junior from Virginia, Agnos, in danger of walking the bases full. Cherry comes into the game hitting .291. He'll take called strike one.
Well, he's got Blake Way on deck. Way pinch hit yesterday and drew a walk.
Standing on deck, Blake Way, as you say. Agnos is 3-1. Walks, the bases loaded. 2 walks in the inning given up. You can understand the one to Joe Davis. Now this one, though, has a Cougar at every base with Way coming to the plate.
Way again came in late, pinch hit. He drew the walk yesterday. He's just a .211 hitter. It's only his 9th walk of the season against 20 strikeouts. This is just his 17th start of the season. So a chance for the junior to get a big hit. And with a little bit of the control issue right now for Agnos, if I'm Blake Way, I may just get up there and take the look at a strike.
Give him an offering, then get set. Lockhart, Davis, and Cherry now on base. There's your free pitch. Way takes a look at called strike one, 91 miles an hour.
Situation for Houston is if you don't get anything out of this inning, how many opportunities, especially this good, are you going to get against Agnos?
Called strike two. And Way kind of looks back at the home plate umpire, Ryan Broussard. Not happy with the call.
No, he's frustrated. And I know Agnos has walked a couple of guys, but he's one of the best pitchers, not only in this league, but in the nation. You can't just assume he's just going to give you 4 balls.
One pitch from getting out of the inning. Yes, he did. And with first base full, that's the end of the frame. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 2 walks, 3 left on. Agnos wins that frame. We'll head to the top of the second. Pirates coming to the plate. For more, let's go down with Haley.
Before the game today, ECU head coach Cliff Godwin kind of joked, saying it feels like we meet Houston every year in this conference tournament, just not usually in day 2, in an elimination game rather. And he's not exactly wrong. These 2 teams have met every year that ECU has been in this league, except for 1 year. 2 of those meetings coming in the title game, each program winning one of those. And Houston head coach Todd Whitting adding that this has developed into a really nice rivalry series.
I agree 100%. Both these teams know each other well. And you could make the argument with 14 all-conference selections between them. These are maybe the 2 most talented teams in the league meeting up here in an elimination game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's really no argument. ECU, the most talented with 42 wins. Houston has some good offensive numbers. I think what separates them maybe from a couple of the other teams on the mound, probably a little bit better. And on the mound, as we heard Todd talk yesterday, and coming into the tournament has kind of carried them. Obviously, Joe Davis carries them a lot with the 57 RBI and the 18 home runs, but he's really got good frontline pitching. Aguilar, Lockhart, Randall coming in this season. Between those 3, I believe 40 really good starts, and then they have picked up a 17 wins this year between those three.
Here's your conference coach of the year for the second time in the American, Cliff Godwin, who's had so much success in the first 5 years in Greenville.
Well, coach of the year, and Cliff won the first American regular season title this year. A record at 20 wins. They won every series in the American Conference this year. And Cliff's just done a really nice job. He's been around. He came over from Ole Miss. He had been at some big-time programs, a natural fit here. Had spent some time, I believe, at ECU before that. Has taken this program that was already one of the better programs of the country, really elevated it. And now, as we've talked about several times already, should be really solid. Going to host a regional and a chance here to get a national seed. They've had a couple of supers and been eliminated for that, but they're looking to make that next step this year and make a trip to Omaha, Nebraska.
Looking to host a regional for the second season in a row, the Greenville Regional in 2018. Brady Lloyd will lead things off for the Pirates. And the first pitch by Aguilar misses the zone, 1-0.
Brady, a really nice game yesterday. 3 hits, up to 255 on the season.
Lloyd standing right on top of the plate, too. Offers at the 1-0. He's late on the 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and that'll be a souvenir.
Interesting crowding the plate still late in the season for a lot of players after the new rule was instituted on the hit batter. If you're in the plane of the plate, even if you try to get out of the way, it could be an automatic out. They'll still ride up there. I mean, it comes down to where are you comfortable as a hitter.
Lloyd goes 5'9", 170, a Pennsylvania native, and he's worked himself ahead in the count, 2-1. One of those really talented players that can work any side of the infield, whether it's shortstop, third. Got the speed to work in the outfield as well. Just one of those guys you can plug in if you're the head coach. Will he offer? Nope. He's ahead in the count, 3-1 now.
Well, Lloyd can sit on one here. Doesn't have the big power numbers. You want to get him on base. He's got 8 stolen bases. He could really cause some trouble if you give him a free pass.
Lloyd has started every game this year. He was one of 7 Pirates to start all 50 games last year, or start 50-plus games. Goes this way, a long way into right field. Lockhart shading back just before the track and makes the catch. He made it look easy with the sun coming down the way. It'll be a long out.
Well, Lockhart had to battle the sun for the first time this afternoon. Into the corner, but was able to look a little bit more toward the first base side than directly into it. A little bit like Burleson had to walk right into the sun when he dropped that fly ball in the bottom of the first.
Today's DH for ECU, Thomas Francisco, starting his 29th game. .295 hitter in his freshman season. Big looping breaking ball there.
Francisco would come into the game late yesterday, pinch hit. He went 0 for 1 in the conference opener.
Bilamovic shaded a little bit towards left center field. Francisco looking to turn on one here against the southpaw. Won't offer there, and the count goes 1-1.
Well, pounds the strike zone. Aguilar not wanting to fall behind. Pretty good in the first inning, even though he gave up a run.
Here's Aguilar. Can't paint the corner.
You know, Lovelace trying to frame it, but Ryan Broussard not going to give that strike.
Aguilar from Deer Park, Texas, goes 6'1", 190 pounds for the Cougars. This one's sent back up the middle, and it'll one-hop into shallow center field. A one-out single for the Pirates.
Nice job by Francisco. Took it back up the middle. Sets the table for 1 out for Norby. We'll see this pitch come in. Belt high just over the head of Aguilar. Thomas Francisco hasn't had a stolen base attempt, so they'll have to drive him around, especially with a left-hander on the mound. He's not going to be able to get too big of a lead over there.
This one's fouled back to the screen. It'll bounce first base side.
You know, trying to run Norby in that time, just had to fight it off the handle.
Aguilar came in as a freshman. Coaches thought he could be a reliever, and he's worked himself into the Saturday starter. Pretty impressive for someone in his first season. Has a great record to match at 6.3 with a sub-3 ERA. Ahead in the count here, 0-1. This one's hit on the middle, could be 2. From his knees, the throw over. In time by Highland. Double play up the middle. Davis makes the squeeze at first, and East Carolina quietly in the second. We'll have the Cougars coming to the plate when we return here. These are the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Welcome back into Clearwater, Florida. Spectrum Field here on the Gulf Coast. We appreciate you joining us for today's ball game. ECU with an early 1-0 lead, but they can't build on it. Now the Cougars will try and equalize in the bottom of the second. Houston, the visiting team yesterday. East Carolina, with the #1 seed, was the home team against Wichita State. It did not pay dividends for them.
Well, they're in a position they didn't think they would be until maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday elimination. So early on, their backs were against the wall. Agnos did a nice job. He worked around a little trouble. A pair of walks. There was an error in right field, but got out of a bases-loaded jam.
Agnos' first offering to Brad Burkell is called strike one. Burleson had a quality start earlier in the season against the Cougars. He went 6 innings, scattered 6 hits, and only allowed 1 earned run, Jeff. But unfortunately, that 1 run was enough. A 2-0 victory by the Cougars, and Agnos took the loss. It was Alex Siegel who we saw pitch yesterday.
He walked 3, struck out 8 in that game through 113 pitches. Sometimes just tough.
Count now 2-1. Might have gotten a small piece of that one. Fouls it back into the mitt.
Left that one upstairs about 89 miles an hour. He got Burkell to bite after it.
Burkell led off yesterday for the Cougars. Today in the 7-hole. Trying to shake off an 0-for-5 performance in Tuesday's opening round. He's worked the count full here.
Burkell, really impactful freshman season, made the All-Silver Glove Series team this year. This is the number 48 freshman in the American, according to Perfect Game coming into the season.
He'll draw the walk to lead things off here in the second inning.
Third walk of the game for Agnos. Only had 34 coming into the contest, but again, just a little bit of control issue early on. He's not missing by much. It's not as if he's all over the place.
That'll bring up Kyle Lovelace to the plate. Sophomore went 1 for 3 yesterday with a strikeout. Not necessarily looking to drive the ball over the wall here, but put it in play and move some guys around into scoring position. Good things can happen for the Cougars, who trail 1-0.
Burkell also has 16 stolen bases. Todd Whitting may want to try to get that defense in motion a little bit.
Lovelace squares to bunt, fouls this one back to the screen, and that gives away your strategy. Coming in was Giles at third base. Lovelace could do a great job if you can put this down on the right side, draw in the first baseman Brickhouse to try and field it. Agnos will deliver, pulls back the bunt. Count evens 1-1.
Houston this year with 33 sacrifice bunts. Lovelace leads the team with 13 of the 33.
Lovelace, 5'10", 165 pounds, out of Hudson, Texas. Sophomore season. Puts that bunt down, right side perfectly. Brickhouse will deal to first just in time. The 3-4 put out there. Covering over was the second baseman, Norby.
A lot closer than they thought it was going to be at first when Brickhouse raced in. Good job by Norby to cover, because he really got down the line at first. A little bit of a high throw and a nice adjustment by Norby to come across the foul line with a mitt and bring it back.
So the sacrifice bunt successful. A runner in scoring position now for the bottom of the order, Kobe Highland, the shortstop.
Now, Todd Whitting probably telling him, look, we need you to at least push him over to third. We need some contact out of this. Shorten up on your swing a little bit. Highland this year a little strikeout prone in 55 games and 52 starts, 56 strikeouts, just 18 walks.
Highland, a left-handed bat, 1 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. Fastball finishes a little bit high. Highland looking on, 222 average, a 6', 200-pound junior. Agnos wants to cycle through the signals again. Now he's got what he wants. His 35th pitch of the ball game. Hit hard on the ground. Brickhouse with a great pickup on 2 hops. That'll be the second out of the inning. Runner now stands on third.
Doesn't get an RBI, but he will move that runner over to third, so it keeps him in play. A potential wild pitch, something gets around. Washer could get the runner in, but they'll want Lockhart to try to drive him in with 2 outs. Todd Whitting, what a job he's done with the Houston Cougars. Got down here, made an immediate impact down in Houston.
You know, just one of those guys that has done so much for the Houston program, brought them to prominence. Excited for what the future holds for them as well because of the facilities improvements and everything else going on in the Bayou City. Just a great time to be a fan of the Houston Cougars. Two outs, runner on third for Lyle Lockhart. Reached on the air when Burleson out in right field misplayed a pop-up. Lockhart hitting .215 in his junior season. 78 miles an hour, way out in front of it. Great pitch by Agnos. He's a strike from getting out of this inning.
It looked pretty bad as he went down on a knee there. And again, you don't know how many opportunities you'll continue to get against Agnos. Right now, they're 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position in the ball game.
That ball came out of his hand, looked exactly like the fastball, and it just finishes low and slow. That one plunks him. I thought that came in. No, it'll bring the run home, and we're tied up. Agnos has a one come out of his hand a little funny, and it's a brand new ball game here in the second inning.
Subtle things we saw out of Kobe Highland. We talked about pushing him to third. You don't think that's a big deal. Base hit with a runner at second gets you in, but pushing him to third on a wild pitch allows him to come in and score and tie the ball game.
That was a one-hopper. Played off the shoulder of Washer. So the wild pitch by Agnos ties it up.
That took such a high hop after it hit the dirt. I'm not sure if that didn't hit the black of the plate and take that extra high hop.
Lockhart will hold there. 80 miles an hour on the pitch. Lockhart flails at that one, down to the end of his own dugout.
Well, at the least it takes the pressure off Lyle Lockhart to get that 2-out RBI.
Agnos staring into Washer. A strikeout got away from Washer. He'll throw down. Third strikeout of the ball game, but one run comes across there on the wild pitch. We're tied up at 1 apiece. Can ECU pull back ahead here as we head to the top of the third inning in Clearwater? You're watching the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Flags fluttering in right center field out on the berm. 1-1 ball game now between East Carolina and the Houston Cougars. Day 2 of our American Baseball Championships, and the fans settling in, enjoying some day baseball here in Clearwater. Garrett Wolver, Jeff Brightwell, and Haley Otten with you on the American Digital Network. Houston's catcher Lovelace throws down to second. We're ready to get underway, and the Pirates coming back to the plate. For them, it'll be 9-1-2 to lead things off in the third inning.
Chance for Giles to set the table. We'll get it back to the top of the order. The top of the order produced a run 2 innings ago. Giles not a bad 9-spot hitter at 244 with 5 doubles.
Aguilar will face Giles for the first time today. Got a double play to get out of the last inning, unscathed. Giles flails at the fastball, 89 miles an hour for strike 1. East Carolina did it the old-fashioned way. Couple of hits and an RBI single that by Washer drove around the first run of the game, Turner Brown. It was the 10th wild pitch of the season by Jake Agnos that allowed a runner to score for Houston in our last frame. Here's the 0-1 to Giles. It's low and won't offer.
Well, the Pirates have scattered 3 hits. They've not been able to string back-to-back hits together. However, Aguilar has not strung back-to-back outs together except to end the first and go into the top of the second.
Giles listed at 5'11", 164. Hammers at this one, but it's foul. Some Pirate fans on the first base side showing their appreciation in the gold jerseys, the white hats, making their names heard, making their voices heard here. Good place to get a little sun, work on your tan, take in some baseball.
Get that base burn to start the year.
Here's Giles looking at a 1-2. Aguilar's breaking ball is wicked. Did he offer? No, he did not.
Giles turned the head, never broke anything. It was close, though.
Great replay there.
Yeah, that bat broke a little bit more than I thought it did initially.
Well, we should be very thankful for the beautiful weather we're enjoying here in Clearwater. Last week in the softball regionals in Minnesota, there was snow. They had to cancel a day and a half's worth of games. Not an issue here in the Tampa Bay area. Aguilar trying to get out. The 2-2 called strike 3. His second strikeout of the ball game.
Well, ran him inside the pitch prior. He was able to get that extra pitch coming in. They didn't call strike 3 on the appeal. This time he leaves no doubt, just jams it right on the inner half, about handle high.
Really
nice
just
job.
kind of busted him inside. Now Brian Packard, who struck out to start the ball game, will come back up. This is the part of the order that really needs to make some hay for East Carolina. Very talented group. Packard leads it with a .355 batting average. 6 home runs, 18 doubles, 35 runs driven in. Good speed as well, just needs to get on the base. That one came in and hit him. 90 miles an hour in the first hit by pitch by either team.
9th batter that he's hit on the season. And they've got a one-out runner here, a chance of Turner Brown, who singled back in the first inning. 2 hits so far this week for Turner Brown.
Watch this one come a little inside. And as his body moves backwards, still makes contact. You'll give him the hit by pitch every time there. Interesting how the rules did change prior to this season. That you can wear a fastball and not get a base. So now Packard with good speed standing off first, conservative lead. Aguilar will check him and go over.
When picking up a little bit of an 8-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out to right field.
Checks the runner. Comes to the plate. The bunt goes foul first base side.
They got Beetlemovich relatively deep in center field. Way in left Lockhart and right about normal.
Aguilar last year made 5 appearances, 4 in relief, 1 start, only threw about 15 innings, struck out 17 and only allowed 7 hits. Did not record a win or a loss, but had an ERA of 1.2. This year worked his way into a starter, 12 starts on the year and a 6-3 record now. That one finishes low. Count goes even at 1-1.
Be the 35th pitch coming up for Aguilar. Double play would really help him.
Burleson will tiptoe back in. Comes right back out, putting a little pressure on Aguilar to hold him close. Can it benefit Brown at the plate, who's got to count 1-1 now?
Well, they give him a lot of credit over there. He's not a bad base hitter. He only has 5, though. He's only been caught 2 times. But really getting into the head of Aguilar.
Brown got a piece of it. Count now 1-2.
He's got a chance now with a 1-2 pitch. Give him something not right down the middle. Maybe get him to ground into a double play. They got out of the inning in the second when Norby grounded into the 4-6-3.
Brown's second team all AAC selection. Infielders come set. And it'll have to wait. Aguilar almost throws one by Big Joe Davis over at first.
Well, Brown just a tough guy to pitch to, just due to his ability to go to all parts of the field.
Stands right on top of the plate, too. He's 5th all time in school history with 36 hit by pitches. Young man will do what he has to do to get on base. Now the 1-2. One hopper to the plate. That'll break down Lovelace.
It's a nice piece of catching by Lovelace to block that, kept it out front. Packard started just a step or two, then made his way back to the bag.
Flags really pushing out hard through right field right now. Brown checks the runner again. Just trying to put something in play here. That one up at the 90 miles an hour by Aguilar.
Stayed up and out, went to the opposite field, just laced it foul to the right side. You know what makes it difficult to pitch to a player like this? Can't rely on maybe throwing outside, having him pull the hips out. You risk it jamming him in. And he's got the speed, if he doesn't make good contact, to beat out an infield single.
Brown hanging tough up there. He's worked the count 2-2. This one is rifled down the left side, foul, past third base. All on top of that pitch. Aguilar is a Houston native by way of Deer Park. He helped his team win the state championship. He was the game's winning pitcher in 2017. Gives you an idea of how young these guys are now that we're watching in college baseball and all across college athletics. Every recruit you'll see from this point on is born after 2000. You're shaking your head. I'm shaking my head with you.
One born in 1972. We were all afraid of the year 2000 before it happened.
Here's Aguilar trying to get Brown to sit down. This one's lifted into the air. Bilamovic comes in a little bit, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Brown battled up there and made him throw a couple of extra pitches, but ends up being an out.
Well, it wasn't a totally unproductive plate appearance by Brown. You mentioned he raises the pitch count. Comes in, that's going to put him up somewhere around 40 on the pitch count, right at 39. So getting the pitch count elevated, even though you might not produce runs early in the ball game, may allow you to get Aguilar out there maybe in the 6th inning if you were lucky. Now Aguilar could have a couple of quick innings here in the 4th and 5th, stretch it out to 7, but right now moving the pitch count up just a little bit.
Here comes one of the best extra base hitters in the conference, Alec Burleson. 20 doubles on the year, among the national leaders, and he's backed off the plate with the breaking ball, 78 miles an hour.
Not often do you see a guy named to the first and the second team of an all-conference team. That tells you how they can use him in the field, at the plate, on the mound. You looked at the all-conference team at first, I thought it was a typo. No, he was nominated at 2 spots. He was good enough to make 2 spots.
Still just a sophomore. They set up inside on him. That one's in on the handle. Caught by an assistant coach on the bench for Houston. That'll even the count at 1-1.
You can be a two-way player. You can be that successful early on. So in the future, he's got the potential maybe to be a preseason player of the year in the league type of player.
You saw Todd Whitting and his assistants there. Terry Rooney, Ryan Schatzberger, Caleb Barker. Aguilar, even in the count, 1-1. Packard still dancing off first base. Burleson squares to bunt with 2 outs, pulls it back, and now he falls behind.
Trying to get that defense to dance around. I guess he saw Triolo maybe playing back a little bit. Triolo goes back down with 2 strikes. Boy, and Burkell way back at second base. He's a good 10-12 feet in shallow right field.
Highland at shortstop, very close to the bag, almost in shallow center field. Really respecting the sophomore Burleson's bat, expecting him to pepper it somewhere. Davis holding on, Packard. Really like the look of both these teams' uniforms today. The purple jerseys with the gold script, the classic white with red numbers for Houston. Aguilar looking for that one pitch to disappear from this inning, and it finishes high. Not afraid to try and throw the breaking ball for the out pitch. Burleson hangs tough.
Well, left it up and out. Burleson doesn't hit. Takes it for the ball. Not that far up and out. They've got some guys already early today on that high pitch. You know, you get some hitters kind of geeked up in an elimination game, a little bit more eager to go to something out of the zone.
Burleson clobbers this one. Lockhart's going back. He can only watch it go. A 2-run bomb by Alec Burleson. And ECU back on top, 3-1. That ball just kept flying out of this ballpark, high and to right, and East Carolina has taken the lead back.
Burleson's 9th home run, RBIs 53 and 54. That's something to get some excitement going over there at the Pirate dugout as Burleson will catch a ride over into the dugout. Yeah, got it up into that jet stream to right field, and it carried.
Let's go down to Haley with more.
We just saw the straw hat come out for the second time today, and that is apparently a new thing here in Clearwater. I did some investigating to see if that has been some sort of tradition, but it's not. So it either came with the Pirates to Clearwater or maybe a new souvenir purchased here on this trip. But when you see the players getting carried off of the field, this usually happens after someone scores or hits a home run. Jake Kuchmaner started this back in early March, so an excited group in the dugout right now.
Thank you, Haley. Jake Washer offers it one as well. Bilamovic has a beat on it. He's at the wall. He can only watch it go. Back-to-back jacks for East Carolina. Jake Washer blast one out of here onto the berm.
12th homer of the year for Washer, and here comes ECU. Maybe they played a little tight yesterday. Maybe they were weighed down with expectations, potentially being a national seed. The favorite to win the conference tournament. Back-to-back home runs. Now they look like they're really starting to play loose.
How unexpected. 2 home runs in a row off of Aguilar, who had given up just 4 home runs all season in 64 innings pitched.
Left it on the outer half of the plate, goes with it to the right side, and with that wind blowing, that's kind of a warning track type ball that takes off as they're going out to the mound to meet with Aguilar, and the Houston bullpen is racing now to left field. A lot of excitement. You can almost tell as we see the Pirate dugout, just the weight lifted off their shoulders, able to breathe a little bit here. Now Cliff Godwin can tell his team, all right, here's what we came to do. Let's play.
This is a big advantage now with a 4-1 lead for East Carolina. Quality pitcher on the hill for them in Agnos. Aguilar is just going to have to settle down a little bit, but the extra base hitting here for East Carolina through the middle of their order has paid some dividends.
Well, here's a guy they want to get going this week. Spencer Brickhouse held over 4, had that key at bat to end the game yesterday. Ended up in a ground ball to second. He grounded out to first early in the game in the first inning. He's their big clubber here. 11 doubles, 12 home runs.
I know you don't want to give away any extra bases here, but the way the ball's flying out to right field right now, the left-handed Brickhouse up there, I'd be thinking about an intentional pass. Can't make a mistake against that big guy. Breaking ball finishes inside for ball 1.
Well, they may give him the unintentional intentional walk. Just don't give him anything to hit. Maybe he gets a little eager. Waves at a few.
Burleson with his 9th home run. Washer with his 12th. That ties Brickhouse for the team lead. Brickhouse will call time. Spencer grounded out to the first baseman, Joe Davis, in the first inning. That into the frame. 1 run in the first, 3 runs here in the third for East Carolina. I feel like we've gotten just a taste of the offense here. There could be more to come. East Carolina playing with a lot of momentum right now.
Momentum, and they're very loose. This is the most energy I've seen out of the Pirate dugout so far. We've got some guys fake swimming in the dugout right now, and it's breaking loose over there.
Brickhouse with a home run cut gets through it. I like the straw hat. It kind of reminds me of something that your grandpa might wear, you know, just to avoid the sun exposure. That's kind of like a Pop's hat. It looks good. And Kuchmaner, I'm expecting he's the guy that bought that at the gas station.
Just going to say that. You know, that was stopping at a truck stop on a bus trip this year. Someone saw it, laughed, I'm going to buy it. And boom.
It's purple. It's ours. Here's Brickhouse. Great play on the shift. The pickup by Burkell, and that gets Houston out of the inning. Good placement there, but the damage is done. 3 runs come across on a pair of home runs, none left on. Burleson with the bomb. Washer follows him with another. It's 4-1 East Carolina, and Houston coming to the dish after this.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents.
Officials,
Student athletes.
coaches, and team representatives. Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Heart of the order coming up for the Houston Cougars as the wind flutters through our conference flags here at the American Baseball Championships, presented by Air Force Reserve. Joe Davis, Jared Triolo, Tyler Bielamovich will lead things off. You see some Houston red and white out there at Frenchie's, enjoying the game at the bar stools. One of the premier places to take in the ball game here. I don't know if you've ever been directly under our concourse. They have a pair of leather lazy boys that you can sit in as well at the top of the concourse. Great place to take in a baseball game. Joe Davis has seen his team's tie ball game, and they're falling behind ECU 4-1 now. Davis, with one swing of the bat, could cut the lead in half. Stands in today after drawing a walk in his first at-bat.
Well, Davis, 18 home runs. You got Triolo at 327 hitter. Bielamovich with a lot of experience behind him. Would be big to get an answer back run. You don't need all 3 runs here. Just get something generated. You're down 3, still early in the ball game, but ECU a whole lot of momentum after the back-to-back home runs.
For Agnos, the ability to pitch with a little more confidence here. You do have the wind flying out, but you might have just popped up Joe Davis right on the dish. And you have the squeeze by Washer, and he is retired for the first out of the inning.
A catcher in Washer, any other catcher for that matter, it's so much more difficult than they make it look. Number one, this time of day, because we already saw the right fielder have a little trouble with the sun. Catcher, you look up, and if it's right above you, you really don't know which way it's going to angle down. You turn around, the sun's in your face. Fortunately, he got a little cloud to help him out. Just made it look routine.
Now Jared Triolo at the plate for the Cougars. Agnos' fastball is outside, 89 miles an hour. Triolo, powerful build, hacks at this one off the top of Houston's dugout. Brown at short, Giles at third, pretty far back at their position, expecting a hot shot on the left side of the field. Triolo struck out in the first, came into the ballgame hitting .327 to lead this Cougar team.
That's a really nice jump from a year ago in 2018. 264 in 59 games, had 55 starts, made that Silver Glove Series team across town in their rivalry series every year they have against Rice.
Won't offer at the 2-1. Good eye at the plate.
Smart young man, 3-time American Conference All-Academic team as well.
Triolo with the good eye works the walk on 5 pitches. 4th walk issued by Agnos. Now the cleanup hitter, Bielamovich, will come to the plate. The starting center fielder 0 for 1 today, flew out to left. So a runner on first base and 1 out. And a strike is called against Bielamovich, who came into today's ball game hitting just over .250. He's made 41 starts on the year. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, 24 runs driven in. Deep breath as he settles in the box. Hammers this one through the side, into left field. Just kind of tomahawked that one in between shortstop and third. Now 2 on and 1 out.
Houston Cougars showing some signs of life on offense. They scored the 2nd inning run. They fell behind 4-1 after the back-to-back ECU home runs, but Bielamovich delivers. 2nd hit of the game, and I was going to mention we did have a ruling change. Lockhart's hit in the first, it was initially ruled an error. They went back and reviewed it, saw the sun. They've changed that now to a hit. So that is the 2nd hit of the game now for the Houston Cougars.
Garrick Cherry coming to the plate with 2 on, 1 out. He drew a walk from Agnos to get things started in the first. And is now ahead in the count 1-0.
That was their first hit with a runner on base now. They're 1 for 5, looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position where they're 0 for 4.
Cherry really announced his presence for the Cougars as the DH in the UConn series. He went 3 for 10 with a double and a home run. Was named an impact freshman by the conference for D1 baseball. Washer's going to call time, talk with Agnos. And I believe the pitching coach will come out for ECU.
We talked about him being an impact freshman. Cherry, when he gets back to the plate, the number 5 freshman in the conference, 237 in the ranking of the top 500 incoming freshmen in the NCAA, according to Perfect Game. So it's going to be fun to see how Derek Cherry develops over his career. Very solid freshman campaign when you have a 291 batting average, already have 19 RBI under your belt.
Here's Coach Roselle, the pitching coach, now in his 9th season with the Pirates. He's been there since 2011, talking with his starter, the pitcher of the year. Now, that's always something nice that you can throw on the resume up on the website. Oh, yeah, pitcher of the year. Just a very dedicated individual, works very well with the collegiate pitchers. And for Agnos, you know, you just got a 3-run lead. Let's do the best we can to maintain that. Look at that young man. Couldn't ask for a better bat boy in all of college baseball. Talking with his heroes. Cherry ahead in the count, 2-0 with 2 on. First time he's swinging. This one's into the gap in left center field. Packard's got to go back. Shades over to make the catch. Here's a run over by Triolo, and he'll be safe at third base. Good job tagging up there. That one was pretty deep into left center field. Now a runner's on the corners. Let's go take a look at the young man who's working as a bat boy for the Cougars today, Haley.
Well, this young man, his name is Talon Whitting, and he has been a key to this Houston team the past few years. And you'll see him out here before the game, talking to the guys, giving him some of his thoughts, even leading a dynamic warm-up. So he's been a big part to this team, but young Talon is growing up fast because he is headed off to school soon. So when I was talking with Coach Whitting, he's saying that Talon is a little bit bummed out. His responsibilities might be changing here in the years to come, but he has been vital to this group.
I can't imagine that he's grown up or wanted to grow up on a better playground. He's gone to every ballpark with the guys, just, you know, and I've never seen him in anything but a Houston uniform, you know.
Well, how fun is it? You know, you're not going to have your birthday party in the backyard playing wiffle ball on a made-up infield. I'm sure it's like, hey, Dad, let's have the birthday party at Cougar Field, have all my friends out, play on the big yard. And I'm sure when he's talking to the players, he's probably astute enough. He's probably giving out some advice. Like, I'm going to need you to choke up a little bit or try to barrel a ball up, move the runner over.
A little bit more, Haley?
Yeah, Coach Whitting was telling me that one time he saw Talon going up to Joe Davis to give him some coaching tips, and he had to actually pull Talon back and say, get back over here.
Joe, I think you need to wear the stirrups. Pull the leggings up. We got to go old school here at U of H. Blake Way behind in the count now, 1-2, and the purple and gold fans of ECU really making their voices heard. They want to get out of the inning unscathed with runners on the corners. I mean, that for Talon, that's your afternoon play outfit, maybe Halloween outfit, maybe wear it on Easter Sunday. I mean, that young man, this one's hit on the ground. Should be playable for Turner Brown. Flips to second in time. 6-4, and we're out of the inning. Houston strands 2. We're 3 complete, headed to the top of the 4th. With ECU leading 4-1. Can the Pirate offense generate some more? We'll find out when we return here in Clearwater.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
The regular season champions of the American Athletic Conference, as well as the defending tournament champions that came away with a victory last year.
Well, they're pretty loose after a 3-run third. They got the back-to-back home runs by Burleson and Washer. You can almost tell, as we've talked about, maybe now able to have a little fun. The pressure off a little bit, a 3-run lead. Big inning for ECU. If they can keep that momentum, they can really get the train rolling. And remember, we talked about it yesterday. If you won yesterday, you got the day off. There's still a day off in play here today. Win today, you don't have to play again until Elimination Friday. So you can reset things a little bit. You can kind of let it all hang out as far as your bullpen, because those relievers again will get another day's rest.
Aguilar will work to Brady Lloyd to get things started in the top of the fourth. In 2018, it was East Carolina and the UConn Huskies in the championship game in this tournament. A game won by the Pirates 4-3. Jake Agnos started the game. Ryan Ross won it, and Davis Kilpatrick saved it. Pretty good days at the plate from some guys who are still on the roster. Packard 2 for 4. Brickhouse 2 for 4. Both had RBIs. In 2019 right now, UConn kind of in the driver's seat. If they can win in their next game, they'll make the semifinals and have to be beaten twice. Tulane also one of those teams that could make it to the championship game after winning last night against UCF. Lloyd ahead in the count 2-0. Now it's 2-1 on the 87-mile-an-hour offering.
Well, UConn has the upstart of Wichita State tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern, 2 Central.
Not trying to disrespect Wichita State for what they did yesterday, knocking off the regular season champs, but
UConn's got the experience in the league. They've won championships. I was about to say, I don't know if I'm in that bracket if I'm wanting to try to beat Jim Penders 2 times in one day once Saturday rolls around. If he gets through the game tomorrow, they get another day off. So he gets 2 days off. Gets to reset everything. Then you get to face the most veteran coach in this league with a lot of championships under his belt.
We, of course, can't discount Cincinnati, the 2 seed during the regular season. Had a nice flourish to end. And the Bearcats. Here's Lloyd swinging through one on the outside part of the plate. A strikeout for Aguilar, his 3rd of the game. It's a good start to the 4th inning. Now Thomas Francisco will come to the plate. See this one elevate and run away from the right-hander.
Well, that's what you want to see out of Aguilar. Come back, get the first out after a 3-run 3rd inning. Get things started off. Now Francisco got his first hit after pinch hitting yesterday. Taking a look at yesterday, UConn, that thrilling win. Wichita State and ECU, they stayed very close throughout the game. Then late in the game, it was Wichita State that broke out.
Cincinnati also came away with their first win in conference tournament history. They had been 0-10. Nice to get off the schneid there. The number 2 seed in the regular season. Do they have an opportunity to make it past Saturday? Got to come away with some really brilliant starting pitching. Get guys to go deep into ball games for you. 7, maybe 8 innings and get the offense to match. Anything can happen.
Well, their numbers don't stand out at you at all except for the 88 stolen bases. But they have found a way to win to go 13-11. They're going to face a very stiff challenge tomorrow night in that Vaughn and Tulane offense.
Francisco won't offer at this one. Good job. He works himself ahead in the count 2-1.
But how about Travis Jewett? He's got to be the happiest coach here. He had a senior in what's going to be his last start, at least for this week, go 136 pitches. And he basically told him, could be my last start. Just keep sending me out there. I feel great.
He just kept getting stronger as the game went on. His ability to just pump up that fastball was impressive. No stop can be made up the middle. Highland and Burkell can't get to it. Here's a one-hopper into second base. Heads up running by Thomas Francisco. Works himself into a double to lead things off with an out.
How about that hustle double by Francisco? He's got a pair of hits, a single and a double. Never stopped around first base. Just threaded the needle on that sing-eye base hit, which looked like a single at first.
That ball bounced a couple of feet in front of the plate, and then a long run by Lockhart to get there. I guess he thought the middle infielders were going to be able to knock that down. Instead, Francisco slides in, now in scoring position. That'll put a little pressure on you as well if you're Aguilar. Up to the plate, Connor Norby. Norby grounded into the double play back in the second to in the frame. Big hack at the plate. Norby in his freshman season came into the ball game hitting .211 and had just one start. Came in relief as a substitution yesterday. Native of Kernersville. Lifts this one into the air to Lockhart in right field. He'll make the catch. No reason to tag yet for Francisco. He'll hang at second. Maybe respecting the arm of Lockhart there. And Norby's retired.
You know, they're living in the danger zone right there. We've seen those Seagulls all week, but just perched out. They're going to enjoy the ball game. They got in for free. Time for Ryder Giles to get something going with 2 outs here.
Giles would love to scatter those Seagulls with a little bloop single into shallow center. Maybe push a run around. Struck out to lead off the third inning. Facing Aguilar for the second time today. Aguilar will just walk the runner back.
Garrett, every time I see Seagulls on a field, all I can think about the old exhibition stadium in Toronto with the Blue Jays before they built the Sky Dome. And it would just be a sea of them out in the outfield on a base hit.
Better to be a seagull than a pigeon. Fly in front of something Randy Johnson's throwing. 2 outs, runner in scoring position, and Aguilar misses the zone there.
Well, ECU doesn't need another big inning. They want 1 run here. Just expand the lead. Keep the momentum going.
On offer at the 1-0. Giles in his first season with East Carolina in the fall of 2018. He was named to the Director of Athletics honor roll for his work in the classroom. Fall ball is always so much fun, not only going out there and showing your wares, but getting to know your brothers on the field as well, kind of creating that camaraderie between each other, and then got to go to war in the spring. Pitching coach, I believe Terry Rooney coming out, and he will make the call. So Aguilar's day comes to a close here after just 3 2/3 innings. Giles, in the middle of his at-bat, will have to adjust to a new pitcher. So a runner on with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. We'll tell you about the new pitcher coming out of the wall here when we return to the American Baseball Championships presented by Air Force Reserve.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with 1 drop.
Change starts with 1 person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
Cody scores.
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Are you mom? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
Tired, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
The Houston Cougars going with their first reliever of the day. It's the freshman pitcher of the year in the American, Devin Rudall.
Rudall originally out of Beaumont, Texas. He's been really well-traveled. He gets the newcomer pitcher of the year, as you mentioned. He actually started out at TCU back in 2016, then came by way of that incredible San Jacinto Community College program. And players of Louisiana and Texas are just littered with those JUCO guys from San Jacinto.
Rudall will have to face Ryder Giles already with 2 balls on the ledger. First pitch swinging at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Rudall, powerfully built, listed at 6'2", 225.
Well, he's been great out of the bullpen. 29 outings, 1 start, 7-2, 4 saves, 3.64 ERA, and 59 strikeouts.
Rudall staring in to his battery mate. Lovelace squeezes that one. The count goes to 3-1. Ryder Giles struck out to start the 3rd inning. Got a runner in scoring position here with Thomas Francisco on second base. Francisco has scored 10 runs on the year. Chopper at the plate. Rudall will have to field his position. Fires over to first base. And all it took was 3 pitches to get out of the inning. Rudall takes care. And ECU will head back to their dugout. Pirates coming out onto the field. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th when we return here to the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further. Let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express. Every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Jake Adnos back out for his 4th inning of work. The Pirates leading Houston 4-1. Cougars going to try and generate some offense here in the bottom of the frame. They've got one of their better pitchers on the hill now in Devin Rudall. Let's see if they can get the offense to match. Fans grooving out here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater.
Jake Agnos has only given up 1 run. Now his pitch count has gotten high in 3 innings. 2 hits, 1 run. It's earned, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. He did have a wild pitch, but his count now sitting at 58 pitches through 3 innings. So it's about a 20-pitch inning for him.
7, 8, 9 coming to the plate for Houston. Brad Burkell, Kyle Lovelace, and Kobe Highland due up. Burkell squares to bunt left side, and that one bounces foul. It literally hit the lip of the grass and took a left turn. That ball was destined to stay fair and then hit the lip. That would have caught everybody napping too.
I like the call, though. You've only got 2 hits, and one of those was originally scored in the air by Lockhart in the 1st inning. They later changed it to a single. Then Beetle Bobic, a 1-out single inning ago. Right now, you want to find a way to get a ball in play, get that defense to move around.
So Agnos ready for Burkell to step back in. Fastball is high. You saw the fans enjoying the ball game as we came back from break. As we approach Memorial Day weekend and your team's advance, think hard about coming out to the ballpark. Big airport in Tampa, easy to get into and get out of. Burkell pulls back the bunt, and that'll run the count now 1-2 on the called strike. Beautiful time of year to be in Tampa Bay. Upper 80s, sun shining, not like it's 101. And the beach, literally just a handful of miles down the road from us to the west. Chops that one foul at the plate, and it'll go back. Count remains at 1-2.
When you look at the forecast for the rest of the week, outstanding. The forecast highest we'll see the rest of the week is 90. Peaked up to, 97 yesterday. It was pretty warm yesterday. So it's going to stay upper 80s. May hit a little bit above 90, but a good week.
Bunt extended with 2 strikes, and he's out. Burkell strikes out against Agnos. 4th strikeout of the game for the pitcher of the year in the conference, and now Lovelace will come to the plate with 1 out in front of him.
Well, they wanted to risk the 2-strike bunt, as Todd Whitting talking to Burkell as he goes back into the dugout. I'm not quite sure that's what he wanted. Todd Whitting telling him, look, if you're going to do that with 2 strikes, you got a little bit too much motion in the bat. If you're going to square around for a 2-strike bunt, you've got to get set early.
Lovelace dropped a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat. Swings through a pitch here. 78 miles an hour on what looked like the changeup. Sophomore catcher came in hitting .223. 5 doubles on the year, no home runs yet. Waits on that one, fouls it back into the screen. What's really nice about this area here in Clearwater, next to the ballpark, you've got a couple major thoroughfares, so it's easy to get to. Hotels all around the landscape here. Right down the road from the beach, plenty of restaurants, things to do, all centered around this great American Baseball Championship. This time, fastball up to 90 miles an hour, and Lovelace fouls it again.
Well, the coaches like it. It's a great area. The players stay at a couple of different hotels down on Clearwater Beach. Now with the off day, we heard the Wichita State coaching staff. We heard Travis Jewett for Tulane said, hey, we're going to let the guys enjoy the off day on the beach.
0-2 is low.
Baseball's such a long season. It's not a tournament you're going to bring them to like a basketball tournament, a volleyball tournament where you play every day and you're basically going to see the arena and your team hotel. You tell a guy 18 to 22 years old, you got 36 hours off. Let them have a little fun. Let them get away from the ballpark.
1-2, too far inside. Agnos wanted the ring up. A little smile on his face, too. But to be able to come to the Gulf Coast of Florida, see the green blue water, feel the breeze, enjoy yourself out on the beach, great reward for these student athletes. The 2-2. Hit on the ground, should be playable for Turner Brown. Clean pickup and the fire to first in time. Very smooth, slick fielding shortstop over there for ECU.
Good range, didn't let the ball play him. Attacked the baseball. Solid strike over to first base.
Agnos making quick work of Houston, who's down 3 runs, with Kobe Highland coming to the plate. Highland grounded out to the first baseman in his first at bat. Lifts this one up. Could stay in the ballpark. Foul territory. Giles makes the catch. Agnos sets him down 1, 2, 3. He's retired 5 in a row. Pirates up 4-1, looking for more when we return. Nice play in foul territory by Giles. We'll be back after this. Come stay with us in Clearwater.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students, and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
We welcome you back into the Phillies Spring Training Complex, Spectrum Field here in Clearwater, Florida. Auxiliary fields all around us, the Joe DiMaggio Sports Complex right across the street. And Devin Rudall back out for his second inning of relief. It took him 3 pitches to get out of a jam with a runner on in his last outing. We're 4 complete, heading to the top of the 5th inning. Houston needs Rudall to stand tall up there on the hill and keep ECU from increasing their lead.
Well, after Rudolph shut the door, Aguilar ends up officially 3 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts, hit 1 batter, 61 pitches, threw 40 for strikes today for Aguilar.
Top of the order, Bryant Packard will lead things off. Packard today has been on base 1 time after he was hit by a pitch. He's also struck out once.
Still looking for his first hit of the championships. 0 for 3 yesterday in the strikeout today, so 0 for 4.
Rudall, the right-hander, delivers. This one's hit on the ground, right side of the infield. Misplayed there by Burkell, and I believe it'll be an error to get things started. So for the second time today, Packard's on base.
Well, they had a shift. He made a run, and they had a shift on, had him playing in shallow right field. Had it right to him where he wanted to. I think he pulled the mitt up or the glove up a little too much. That hit the heel instead of the webbing or the palm, and he just couldn't clamp down on it.
As solidly as ECU has been hitting the ball, that could end up being a pretty big mistake. Now coming to the plate with no one out and 1 on is Turner Brown. Brown squares to bunt, pulls it back for ball 1.
Well, it has now been officially ruled an E4 on Burkell.
Ball's in play, gonna take a strong throw. And it's on point from Triolo. Gets it down to Davis. Sacrifice bunt is successful.
Nice job by Davis. That was a tough catch to make. Triolo came in. That ball crossed a little bit, I think, behind. Let's take a look. Yeah. And Davis had to go into foul territory, snag it, yank that mitt back. Nice job by Joe. Good bunt as well by Turner Brown to get the job done. Again, ECU not looking for big innings here. They're looking to continue the momentum, just stretch it out a run at a time. However, you got Burleson and Washer who hit the back-to-back home runs in the 3rd.
Speaking of momentum, Burleson started everything off in the 3rd inning with a big 2-run home run over the right field wall. Big hack again. He's late on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Got a piece of that one. Burleson falls behind in the count, 0-2.
Well, it took another big swing that time. They see the flags blowing out. They've hit 2 homers already, both out to right field, trying to get something elevated.
Burleson, a .371 hitter. Puts another one into the air. This time Lockhart should have a play with it. Just in front of the track, and tagging up will be Bryant Packard. Scoots in from 2nd to 3rd base, now with 2 outs, a runner on 3rd.
Well, Lockhart was going to camp up under it, get his momentum coming toward 3rd, but that wind carried it, and then Lockhart had to backpedal just a little bit, and once Packard saw that, knew he would be able to make 3rd base.
Jeff, let's take a relook at the home run from earlier in the ballgame for East Carolina.
Gets into it and drives it out to right center field. Carried really nice out there on the bottom half of that berm. Ended up catching a ride into the dugout after that.
Coach Godwin talking with Jake Washer. Washer will settle in with a runner on third base. He'll face the new reliever, Devin Rudall, who's ready to throw his 10th pitch.
He's looking for his third two-out hit. Had the RBI single with a pair of outs in the first. And Burleson and Washer's home runs, both with 2 outs in the third inning. They're 3 for 6 so far in the ballgame with 2 outs.
Packard off the bag at third. Washer watches this one cruise by. 83 miles an hour, and the count goes to 1-1. Devin Rudall, originally from Beaumont, Texas, began his college career at TCU. Suffered an injury early on in that season, but was still part of the Horned Frogs 2016 College World Series team. TCU hosted a regional, won the College Station Super Regional that year, and advanced to Omaha, and were actually in the winner's bracket. They won 2 games in a row before Coastal Carolina, the eventual national champions, beat them 2 in a row in the semis. Washer trying to keep the inning going with a man on third. He's down in the count, 1-2. 85 miles an hour on the change, and Washer strikes out to end the inning. Big pitch by Rudall, and Houston's got a little momentum heading into that third base dugout. Can they bring the bats to play when we return in the bottom of the 5th? Stick with us, folks. You're watching the American Digital Network.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Spectrum Field alive with college baseball here. Day 2 of the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve, and ECU with a 4-1 lead over Houston. Back out for their 5th inning of work in the field. You see Frenchie's Tiki Hut out in left field. There's Jake Agnos warming up on the hill. He's ready to get things going against the Cougars in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be the top of the order. Lockhart, Davis, and Triolo. All 3 of those men still looking for their first hit today.
Well, after the 3-run third inning for ECU, a lot of excitement in that Pirate dugout. They had all the momentum, but now Houston getting out of a big jam. And as you mentioned, going to break, maybe a little of the momentum starting to go back over to the red and white.
Earlier on in the game, Lockhart flied out, we thought, to right field. Burleson misplayed a ball. He was able to reach on an error that, as Jeff said, has been changed to a single. So Lockhart officially 1 for 2 today. Reaching in the first, striking out in the second. Here's his 3rd at-bat today. And Agnos, the pitcher of the year in the American, starts him off with strike 1. This one's a little bit lower. Lockhart goes after it, and he's quickly behind 0-2. So to start the 5th inning, Agnos at 70 pitches. We saw a couple of heroic performances yesterday on the hill, most notably Tulane starter Roper, who did a great job in what could be his final start in a Tulane uniform. How about that catch, the diving catch to end the ball game for Tulane? If you don't come up with that ball, it gets pretty interesting, but a lot of momentum for the Green Wave as they head into their 2nd game in this tournament.
I got the offense rolling. I'm surprised the score ended up 5-2.
Lockhart goes fishing on one down, was able to get a piece of it, and Washer can't grab it.
Because before the game and even the first 3 innings, we thought we're just going to see a ton of runs. Going to be a long ball game here tonight. 5-2 after 3. Saw some home runs, but after the third, I would not have laid a wager that those were the last runs we would see the entire ball game.
Agno's breaking ball popped up on the infield. I think Norby's got a call on it at second base. Woo! Makes the catch.
That sun has been a little bit of a burden for both teams today. He had a dunk out of the way of it. Still taking a look at it. They don't have the flip shades like they did back when I was growing up.
Ed McGriff?
Yeah. You can't flip them down like Andre Dawson in right field anymore. You're either going to wear them or you're not going to wear them. Have them on the bill of the cap.
Joe Davis swinging at a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Tips it back into the mitt. Memphis Tigers coming up the third base catwalk right now, coming on the concourse. They will be our second game today. Fighting for their lives here in the tournament. They got to take on a pretty talented team from Orlando. Davis swings through the 0-2. 3 pitches and a quick strikeout against the all-time home run and RBI king in Cougar history.
36th strikeout of the year for Joe Davis, so he doesn't strike out a lot. Got a hold of one yesterday, but couldn't lay off the high heat. Maybe pressing a little bit here midway through the ball game.
Davis today has been retired 2 times in a row. Now Triolo comes to the plate. He drew a walk from Agnos in his last at bat. Jake's really done a nice job today of keeping Houston from driving the ball with any authority. The only knock you could say is that he's given up 4 walks through 4+ innings pitched. But you'll take that. Only 1 run has come across, and he's scattered 2 hits. This one's hit on the ground. Should find some real estate in shallow left field. It'll drop. Got to get that ball in quickly because Triolo runs well. He'll round first and head back to the bag.
See what Todd Woody wants to do with him once we get Bielomavich up there. 13 stolen bases on the year for Triolo. Just a nice job to poke it out in the left field. 2-out single. Want to extend the inning here, even if you don't score. Again, Agnos pitching very well, but as you mentioned, pitch count still creeping up.
Bielomavich 1 for 2 today. Singled in his last at bat. Got through the infield into left. Agnos, the lefty, will go over. Triolo, one of your team leaders, 13 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice. This one's fouled at the plate. For Houston, I just don't think that's an option right now, though, with 2 outs. You just haven't had a lot of success against Agnos in this particular ball game. If you've got a favorable count, though, maybe Bielomavich can work himself ahead. Something like a 2-1 or a 3-1. Maybe you gamble a little bit. Think about a hit and run.
Well, get a couple guys out of position covering second base at the least. Again, you've said just 3 hits. And that's with the fly ball by Lockhart changed to a hit 2 innings later.
This one's hit on the ground. Turner Brown, nice diving stab. He's got to go to first, and it's in time. Wow, nice play by Turner Brown over on the left side of the infield. And Houston, just 4 batters to the plate, a single, 1 left on. No runs come across. Brown with the gold star play over to first in time. We're 5 complete, headed to the top of the 6th after this.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve our time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Off air, we just had our first official review of the ball game, whether the runner was able to get to first base in time. Instead, the throw by Brown is validated, and the squeeze was made by Brickhouse. Brickhouse with the catch. Foot not on the bag yet by the hustling Bilamovic, but making sure that they got the play right before they close out the 5th inning.
Well, it's always important. You like to have that luxury now. Validates, as you mentioned, confirms what the umpires saw. And also showed a really nice job by Brickhouse. We talked about Brown's play to bang him out. But what about the stretch over at first? That makes the difference there.
Nice to have a 6'4" lefty. Always. For Brickhouse, he headed back to the dugout, and then he had to come back out and go onto the field. They brought the runner back out to first base. He's leading off the inning, so maybe that messes with his momentum just a little bit. But Brickhouse will come back out 0 for 2 to get us started today. There's a team that came into the tournament with all the momentum. They started conference play 16-2. They finished 20-4. They beat all 8 teams, at least 2 wins that they faced this year. Pretty impressive haul by Coach Godwin's club.
Got a good resume up and down the order. Was looking at some of the RPIs, and despite losing to Memphis Saturday and then Wichita State yesterday, the 7 and 8 seeds in this American Conference Championship, they were still sticking at a number 5 RPI. So obviously, unless something crazy happened inside the committee, they're going to host. And I think as long as they get a win in this championship tournament, they can make a very solid case. They've got the right to make all the arguments they want to about getting a national seed. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, viewing here on the American Digital Network, national seed means you get home field advantage throughout the regionals and the supers until you get to Omaha, Nebraska.
Brickhouse swinging at the first pitch. It's fouled over the left side and out of play. 64 teams will find out on Monday with the NCAA selection show where they're headed later in the week for the NCAA regionals. Spencer Brickhouse batting in the 5-hole today. Big, tall first baseman. Now even in the count 1-1. That fastball at 93 miles an hour.
I know they've had some wild crowds in the regionals at Clark LeClaire Stadium in Greenville. I can't imagine the reaction when if they advance to the regionals and they were to say welcome to Game 1 of the 2019 Super Regionals at Clark LeClaire Stadium, how that crowd would react.
Rudolph's fastball up to 94 there, and Brickhouse can't catch up. Newcoming pitcher of the year in the conference. Been used mostly as a reliever. He's got some pretty long performances too, and in conference he went 4 1/3 against Cincinnati, 3 2/3 against Tulane 2 weeks ago, 3 innings in his regular season finale at UCF. So a guy who can stretch it out on the hill and pitch with authority. The 1-2. Lined into center field. This one's going to drop in front of Bilamovic. So a leadoff single for Brickhouse, who's got his first hit of the ball game.
Nice job to drive it up the middle. He's grounded to first, lined out the second, and a hard hit ball earlier in the ball game. Just takes it up the middle, and that's whipped the shift. Again, they've pulled the infielders to the right against him every plate appearance he's had so far in the championship, or at least today. They had him play normal a couple of times yesterday, but they know he's a dead pull hitter, but a nice job to drive it up the middle.
It took 6 batters for East Carolina, but they finally got a hit against Devin Rudolph. Now Brady Lloyd swings through one, hit into the hole at shortstop. Highland pulls him off the bag with the throw. Burkell's foot came off the bag as Brickhouse slid in.
I don't know if that was so much Highland's throw as Burkell just didn't stop his momentum going to second and overran the bag once he caught it. Or right after or right before he caught it. Let's take another look at it. No, he did. He drew him off the bag. You had the call right. I thought he may have run a little bit too far, but he had to lunge a little bit to his left. Didn't want that ball to sail into right field, so Highland's throw a little bit off trying to rush it to second.
Houston now in dangerous territory, trailing by 3. And coming to the plate is Thomas Francisco with 2 on and no one out. Francisco, a left-handed bat. Going to be tough to get him to ground into a double play, but that's what Houston would love right here. Something nice and quick to either their shortstop or second baseman. Francisco in today's ball game has singled and doubled, put the ball on the bat well.
I was going to say, in a normal situation here, I would say bunt the guys to second and third and give Norby and Giles a chance of less than 2 outs, but with a 2-for-2 day, and he's also driven out a double, a hustle double. Let this guy swing away, plus you have the righty-lefty matchup. And when you got a guy hitting .364 with runners in scoring position, don't waste a bunt.
Houston's pitching staff is sitting over the wall in left field in the bullpen. East Carolina's still in their first base dugout. Rudall wipes the sweat off his brow. His team trailing by 3-1, trying to keep 3 runs, trying to keep it close. Francisco sends this on a line into left field. They'll hold the runner at third base. The bases are going to be loaded for the Pirates with Connor Norby coming to the plate.
How about Thomas Francisco, a .295 hitter coming in today. His third hit, a pair of singles and a double, just goes the opposite way. Takes the pitch a little down and out. Drives it into left field. Brickhouse had to wait, make sure it got through.
What a great piece of hitting. Low on the outside part of the plate, and he just goes the other way with it.
Nice to have your average up 21 points in one ball game. He's up to 316 now.
Excellent. Now Connor Norby, the second baseman, will come to the plate, right-handed hitter. And that'll send a reliever up, starting to do some calisthenics for the Cougars in the left field bullpen.
Norby just needs to get a ball and play up the middle. Double placed, it won't give an RBI, but it'll get the run in. Fly ball deep enough, gets a run in. You'd like to stay off the corners and to the pitchers about it.
Won't offer it that one. I remember years ago being the USF radio play-by-play guy, and you'd watch them in practice, and one of the things they always focused on is when you've got a guy on third and less than 2 outs, you've got to be able to barrel the ball up. They give you a fastball, you got to elevate it, get it out there, and sack the run in. Here's the 1-0 to Norby. That one finishes a little bit low. Lovelace does his best to bring it up, but the count now 2-0. And there's nowhere to put him.
Norby hit into that double play back in the second, flew to right in the fourth. Either one of those could get that run in.
Rudall to Lovelace with the fake fire down to third.
And Norby's going to take all the way on a 3-0 count. The bases loaded. He may take till he gets a full count.
Brickhouse had to dive back in at third. Can Norby come through with his first hit of the tournament? Won't swing on the 3-0, and he'll pick up the RBI. A 4-pitch walk issued by Rudall, and Brickhouse comes around to score.
Norby, 6th RBI of the year. Remember, Connor Norby, this is his second start of the season, his 20th game he's played in.
They just had to pick up Brickhouse. Somebody got to work out.
Oh, my back.
Ryder Giles scheduled to come to the plate, the starting third baseman today. Will also come up with the bases juiced. Giles was the first batter for ECU to face Devin Rudall. Hit a little one-hopper back to him.
Giles looking for his first hit of the week, over 3 yesterday, a strikeout and a ground out back to the pitcher today. Then you were about to flip it back to the top of the order to Packard, Brown, and Burleson.
With nobody out.
Yeah.
Rudall, deep breath, goes to the plate. That one's off the zone. That's ball 5. Brady Lloyd off third. Francisco at second. Connor Norby on first for East Carolina, who leads by 4 now.
This time if you're Terry Rooney or Todd Whitting, you're saying, hey, take your chances, throw a strike. Let the defense work. You don't want to give up the free run, just gave up a bases loaded walk. At least give yourself a chance.
This one to the right side of the infield. It will get through. 1 run is scored. Coach Godwin sending another run around. It's a 7-1 ball game. 2 RBI single for the bottom of the order, Ryder Giles.
Giles, 23rd, 24th RBI of the year, and that breaks the game wide open at this point. Another 3-run inning, and that'll make it 7-1. A 6-run lead now here in the latter third of the ball game.
Whole lot of momentum over there on the first base side as Francisco slides in. 3rd hit of the inning. And now Houston sends a pair of arms down to the bullpen in number 21, Jared Pettit, and 17, Carter Henry. Devin Rudall, still with nobody out, now has runners on the corners. Here's Bryant Packard, the top of the order. 1 hops the plate. This should give a chance for Norby to come in and score. It's 8-1 ECU.
Rudall really frustrated with himself. As soon as that hit the dirt and go to the backstop, you could see him put the head down, shake it as he ran to the dugout. Those Pirate fans sitting right behind home plate having a very good time in their gold jerseys. We see it here. Gets away. There goes the head down. He's just a frustrated guy at this point.
For Devin Rudall, believe it or not, his first wild pitch of the year.
The danger is now, still with nobody out, Garrett. It's inning at 8-1. They get 3 more runs this inning. They need 6 more outs to end this ball game.
10-run rule in effect here in the conference tournament. So the first 4 men to come to the plate in this inning all come around to score. Ryder Giles with that big 2 RBI single. Now Packard at the plate. He's still looking for his first hit today. Reached on an error in the 5th, hit by a pitch in the 3rd. This is the 2nd time he's faced Rudall. Here's a high chopper. Could get over the head of Highland. Highland will make the play and just has to eat the ball. He's thinking it was a foul off of the batter at the plate.
I don't know if he thought it hit the hard pan in front of the plate. I think he thinks it floated to him. And I think it hit the hard pan and took that high hop out there.
Replay can give us a better look.
Yeah, it hit the hard pan, took a high hop. I don't know if he thought he picked it up once it began its upward arc and just thought, oh, here's a little humpback liner. I'm going to have the catch.
For East Carolina, the hits keep coming. An infield single to shortstop. Packard is on for the 3rd time today. Now the 2-hole. Turner Brown will come to the plate. Houston's got to get a stop here. Rudall is a guy that can give you one. 95 miles an hour there to Brown, out of the zone.
That's the only thing I can think of, Garrett, is what Highland thought there, because he looked over to the umpire and said, I caught it.
Six men have come to the plate. Houston still hasn't generated an out, but a good strike there by Rudall to Brown.
Well, after Brown, you've got 9 homer in Alec Burleson, Jake Washers, 12 homers, Spencer Brickhouse, 12 homers.
Turner Brown with an infield single and the game's first run back in the 1st inning. Today's 1 for 2. He's also laid down a sacrifice. Swinging back up the middle. This could be 2, though. The flip to 2nd. Over to 1st in time. That'll bring another run home. It's 9-1. So Turner Brown drives in a run, won't get the RBI, but ECU's lead grows here in the 6th inning.
That'll make it 9-1. ECU's going to be fine with that. Sure, they would love to get a base hit or just 1 out there, but they're happy putting the ball in play, extending the lead. That's a 5-run 6th inning.
So the base is finally clear for the Cougars. That'll bring up Alec Burleson with 2 outs. He's swinging at the first offering, and Rudall, who had touched 95, drops it back down to 85 and gets a strike. Tough inning for the Cougars. They give up 5 runs here in the 6th inning. It's still not over. They gave up 3 runs in the 3rd. And in the initial inning, gave up a run. That'll back Burleson off the plate, 94 miles an hour. Your count right now is 1-1. 2 outs, nobody on. Infielders come set on Burleson. He won't offer there. Burleson with that big 2-run home run back in the third. Today's 1 for 3. All fly balls. Out in front there on the changeup. Hard to believe that in 1 inning's time, ECU has gone up so much they are just a couple runs away from a run rule decision.
Well, it happened quickly. That bases loaded walk was huge.
That's a fair ball to Davis. Davis will flip to the pitcher just in time. Rudall covers to get out of the inning. 5 runs come across on 4 hits in the 6th inning for ECU. None left on. It's 9-1 Pirates. Cougars got to answer when we come to the top of the 7th inning after this on the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
Be smarter and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with 1 drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
We welcome you back in. Fans enjoying the ball game over at Frenchie's, the Tiki Hut down in left field here at the ballpark. A 9-1 affair with ECU solidly on top here, and their pitcher of the year, Jake Agnos, who's given up just 3 hits and 1 run, firmly in control of Houston's offense.
Well, they're not concerned at all about 82 pitches. Now he's settled in, so he's about where he should be. And with an 8-run lead, we could kind of see a situation as we saw last night. Going to carry this big lead. You're going to stay out there as long as you can. You're now in the elimination bracket, but you don't blow a 9-1 lead here. You get the day off before Elimination Friday.
5, 6, 7 to the plate. Cherry, Way, and Burkell. Wow, beautiful changeup. Down to 78 miles an hour, and Cherry was way in front of it.
Cherry 0 for 4 so far in the tournament. Flew to left. He walked here earlier in the afternoon.
42 wins on the year for East Carolina against just 14 losses. They only had 4 defeats total in conference play coming into Clearwater. Infield comes set. And Cherry has worked himself ahead in the count, 3-1.
Out of Baytown, Texas, Goose Creek Memorial High School, ranked as the #5 freshman in the American Conference, the 237th freshman, according to Perfect Game. Hard to imagine, Garrett, we're going to see an East Carolina or a Houston leave Clearwater at 0-2.
Agnos leaves this one out over the middle. Long run coming for Lloyd. He's on his horse and makes the catch going into the track. Been that kind of day for the Houston offense, and East Carolina continues to put the hammer down.
That's the kind of ball, if it's hit out to right field, it likely gets to the gap, but it holds up with the wind blowing out to right field, and let's credit Lloyd. He got a really nice jump on it. Made a good line on it as well. Made that look routine.
So Cherry is retired. Blake Way will come to the plate, 0 for 2 today with a strikeout. As good as this East Carolina team has been, they are still chasing last year's win total when the Pirates went 44-18. Picked a quartet of wins up here in Clearwater. Won the conference tournament championship. What a huge jump they made, though. Last year in the league standings, 14-10. This year, 20-4. Ray Fuentes is your batter. Fuentes wears number 1, pinch hitting today.
Well, this team's in battle tested. They're number 5 RPI, not just because they've logged 42 wins. The strength of schedule is pretty good. They've had games.
A strikeout by Agnos, and Fuentes goes down quietly. For Agnos, his 6th K of the game.
Early in the year against number 8, then number 8 Ole Miss, number 9 Ole Miss, number 8 Mississippi State. So played a couple of SEC opponents early in the year. Went to 24th ranked Duke. They play them every year in state. Had a 3-game series with number 1 UCLA. Beat UConn when they were ranked.
Here's Brad Burkell. Takes a look at a 90-mile-an-hour heater for ball 1.
It's a program that invested in baseball several years ago under Coach LeClaire. Continued after that. They've made several trips out to the West Coast, whether it's playing UCLA. I know they had a series several years ago, about 18 years ago, I believe it was Fresno State. They traded home and homes. They've got some big-time teams to come out to Greenville as well.
Burkell has reached base 1 time today. He drew a walk to start the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. Last handful of starts, Agnos has gone deep into ball games. 8 2/3 against UConn. 7 innings at Wichita State. His last start against Memphis went 5 innings, but a quality start. Didn't give up any runs, scattered 3 hits, struck out 10. Got an offense that can back you up and a pretty good relief in your pen. Come away with a win there. Burkell battling up there at the plate. It's now 2-2. This one's fouled back to the screen.
You know, talking about ECU and getting some home and homes with those top 10 teams, something you got to appreciate about college baseball. We see it happen in college basketball, college football, where the games are at a premium and you may not risk going on the road. College baseball, you see it all the time, 56 games. Helps that RPI. You'll see teams travel all over the place. They don't mind the challenge.
Another foul on a fastball, 92. Houston with Brayson Herdsman, number 28. Warming up over the wall. Might be a sign that the day for Devin Rudall is over. Rudall got them out of the inning, but not before giving up 5 runs on 4 hits. Agnos comes set. Thought that was the pitch to get him out of here, but Burkell had a nice piece on it. Drives it foul. Nine runs on 10 hits, no errors for East Carolina. 1 run on just 3 hits and 3 errors in the game for the University of Houston Cougars. Burkell lifts this one up on the infield. Should be playable for Giles. 1-2-3 for Agnos. He's set down 4 in a row and now has 6 Ks in the ball game. We'll go to the top of the 7th. East Carolina needs 2 runs to put the 10-run rule in effect. We'll be back after this on the American Digital Network.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Are you mob? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
It's all right, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
96 degrees here on the Gulf Coast in Clearwater, Florida. Hot bats for ECU. They've run out to an 8-run lead, 9-1 over Houston, and they have chased the newcoming pitcher of the year in the American out of the ballgame. The new arm coming in is number 28, Brayson Herdsman.
Herdsman's been very solid this season. 20 outings, 3 starts, 1-0 record, no saves, 3.32 ERA, 38 innings, 35 hits, 15 runs, 14 of those earns, 12 walks, 32 strikeouts, 250 average against no wild pitches. He's hit 3 batters. So Herdsman trying to keep this game under control right now as much as you can say that with an 8-run deficit with a couple of innings left, because as we mentioned an inning ago, in tournament play, you play the 10-run rule, and if ECU gets a pair this inning, they're looking at 3 outs to shorten this game, and that's huge. And it's even magnified because it's an elimination game, and you can get a complete game of Agnos and not have to get into your bullpen.
Third season for Brayson Herdsman, and there's some familiar faces. The Memphis Tigers will be playing the game directly after this one.
You know, Darren Schoenrock has never gone 0-2 in a conference tournament, never been eliminated 0-2. He's a guy, and we talk about it in the press box amongst the broadcasters, you and I too. Somehow Darren Schoenrock, he could be in the top 4 or the bottom 4. Somehow his team always seems to find a way toward a semifinal. He's a very routine guy. They really stay on an even keel. I know Hunter Goodman very happy he won't be seeing Cincinnati today because your rookie position player of the year in 4 games has managed just 2 hits against the Cincinnati Bearcats. They've had his number. They'll take their chances against UCF. They sit as the 6th seed. UCF right there in the low 40s. They need to get a couple of wins here and then make a case that, yes, you're 6th place, but you should take a team with that high of an RPI out of a top 5 conference maybe in the selection show.
Got to be the most talented 6th seed in any conference tournament in the country this year. So Brayson Herdsman ready to work to Jake Washer, middle of the order for ECU, coming to the plate. Herdsman, 6'3", 200 pounds. He's now in his 3rd season with the Cougars. Career numbers, he's made 57 appearances. 13 of those were starts. He has a 3.72 career ERA with 8 wins and 6 losses. So an effective relief pitcher for Todd Whitting and the Cougars. Washer puts this one up into the air, right center field. It finds its way to the berm, and it's a home run for East Carolina. They lead it 10-1. They are 1 run shy of getting into that run rule territory against Houston.
Second solo shot of the day for Washer. That is home run number 13 of the year. He now has the lead for ECU. And that is going to be his 3rd RBI of the day. So that'll give him 46 on the year.
Opposite field, off the end of the bat, and it just kept flying out of here. Bilamovic gave it chase, but that one finds the grass on the berm. 3rd home run of the day for ECU. Smiles abound in the first base dugout right now for the Pirates.
Brickhouse just 1 for 7 in the tournament. He got off the 0 for an inning ago with a leadoff single. He started that 5-run inning, but eventually Brickhouse, who had the lead with 12 home runs, is going to get a swing off in this tournament.
Herdsman gives up just his 4th home run all season in 38+ innings pitched. Brickhouse with a big strong cut there on a 92-mile-an-hour gasser.
Cliff Godwin's got to be really happy after back-to-back losses to Memphis and Wichita State, because it was only the 3rd time this year they've doubled up losses. This is the ECU team that he wanted to see.
Here's the 0-1 to Brickhouse. Let's get a bit more from Haley down on the field.
As if ECU isn't having enough fun in the dugout today with the hats and the picking up of players as they're coming off the field scoring. If you hit a home run on this team, you also get to get showered by a water bottle upon going back into the dugout. So there's a whole lot going on in there today.
Water's cool. Don't come after me with like Coke or Gatorade or anything. That stains the jersey. I love the little sign that you can see in the back. It's the brick and the house. Spencer Brick House. He's got his own poster behind him when we go to our center field camp.
I think we saw that group a year ago behind home plate. They're all decked out in their gold jerseys. One One person didn't get the memo about White Hat Day. They donned the ECU purple cap.
Herdsman up there battling against Brickhouse. He's ahead in the count 1-2. Spencer singled and scored in the 6th inning. He's already come back around to bat here. Herdsman does have 13 starts in his career, but has worked primarily as a reliever for Coach Whitting. The 1-2. And he's called out. Brickhouse make that for the first time today on strikes.
Now, Brickhouse has had a rough go of it to start this tournament now, just 1 for 8 after taking the backward strike, taking another look at it. Just got that low outside corner. Nice work.
East Carolina strikes out for the 5th time today. That'll bring up Brady Lloyd to the plate, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He did reach on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the 6th. This one comes inside to him at 92. Cougars down 9 runs here. Just want to keep it at that deficit and get back to the dugout and try and extend this ball game with a couple of runs. Lloyd swinging through that one. You mentioned that Coach Schoenrock has never gone 0-2 in a conference tournament. Pretty sure Houston has never gone 0-2 in the American. In 2014, they went 2-1 in pool play and were able to play and win the championship. Lloyd lifts this one into the air. Right side, back of first base, tough play, and the catch is made. Burkell comes away with it. Houston still playing hard out here, down by 9.
Nice job by Burkell going back to his left. Had to battle the sun just a little bit, and then Lockhart coming in as well. That was a long way to go. I thought that was going to get into that trouble triangle over toward the right field line and get away from him, able to make the grab. Made it look relatively easy, even though it was a pretty tough play.
Just took a look back on their website. They've made the semifinals every year. Houston has never left this tournament 0-2. Now Thomas Francisco looking on with a 1-0 lead. Been a great day at the plate for him. Single, double, single. Scored a run in his last plate appearance. Big hack there by Francisco. Count goes to 1-1. That's kind of nice. You can wake up hitting in the 200s, go to bed hitting in the 300s. Caps that one off the end of the bat.
We talked about how these tournaments, you can be someone that maybe struggles in the regular season. You can be a freshman. You can be someone flying under the radar and come up really, really huge.
Brayson Herdsman trying to get out of this inning. Takes a fastball. He won't chase it high. 91 miles an hour.
And for Francisco, who is pretty highly touted here in his freshman season, could be a chance for him on a big stage like this to kind of show off and announce that, hey, I'm a guy that you're going to have to look at the next few seasons.
2-2 will run the count full.
The 2 home runs that Washer has hit today, that ties the tournament record for home runs of the game. Lex Kaplan, Frank D'Agostino, James Vasquez, Grant Witherspoon all had a pair of home runs each in individual ball games.
Herdsman, breaking ball, and he just got a piece of it. Good thought. Brought it back down to 82 miles an hour.
3 home runs also, 1 off the pace for home runs by a team in a game. UCF got 4 home runs back in 2014 against the Houston Cougars. That was May 23rd. And then a year ago, it was USF, a 3-home run game against UConn on May 24th.
That was the year 2014 with the pool play, and UCF went 2-1, but didn't quite qualify to play for the championship. Francisco fouls that one back into the screen.
Won their first 2 games. Little Prados last year. Then Memphis came in at 0-2 and walked them off with a Darian Tubbs triple out to right center field.
There was a Gatorade bath to be had after that, I remember. Herdsman has worked it. Let's see if he rears back here, the lefty, the payoff. Outside, and the inning continues for East Carolina. They've got a base runner with 2 outs. After giving up the leadoff home run to Washer, he struck out Brickhouse, got Lloyd to fly out to right field, and then Francisco draws the walk.
And here's the guy that I thought had the plate appearance of the inning in the 6th when they blew the game open. Norby comes to the plate, bases loaded. Guy coming into the game with only 1 start, a 2.11 average, able to draw a bases loaded walk.
He had 1 walk on the year coming in. Herdsman finishes low here. Lovelace with a good job to block it.
I mean, that's a guy coming to the plate. I'm sure Houston's thinking, all right, get this guy to roll into a double play, a fly ball, ground ball, get an out, do a little damage control, maybe limit it to 1 or 2 runs. He walks. Then here comes Giles. 2-run single, Packard a single. They did get the double play, but kept that inning alive and ended up with 5 big runs.
Francisco with a conservative lead over at first. Herdsman misses the zone there. Norby is ahead in the count, 2-0. You see Coach Godwin there. The American Coach of the Year in 2019, well deserved. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I know everyone's excited for the tournament to come, the NCAA regionals, but still a chance for them to make a lot of noise here in Clearwater. Maybe win another crown. That one's fouled off. And that'll run the count even as that ball comes back into play off the facade. It'll be a souvenir for somebody over there on the East Carolina side. The Pirates in 2015 made it to the championship game in this tournament and ended up smothering Houston 9-1 to emphatically win their first American championship. They won the tournament again back in 2018. Ran away with a regular season title this year. Herdsman, 90 miles an hour, and a strikeout by Norby will end the inning and leave 1 on. Another home run for East Carolina. They lead this thing by 9. We'll go to the 7th inning with Houston coming to the plate. It's stretch time here in Clearwater. Stay with us, everyone.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further. Let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express. Every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Beautiful clear skies here in Clearwater, Florida. 10-1 ECU in an elimination game against the Houston Cougars. We're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Our stretching is done, and Jake Agnos, the pitcher of the year in the American Conference, comes back out to the bump.
Take a look here. The monitor may have a couple of defensive moves as Cliff Godwin came out between the innings. Talked to home plate umpire Ryan Broussard, and I'll keep an eye on that for you to see if we have any defensive shifting out there here late in this ball game.
Can tell that's Washer still behind the plate. Had a very nice day so far. Here's Agnos working to Kyle Lovelace. First pitch to him misses. Lovelace in today's ball game has dropped a sacrifice bunt. Today he's 0 for 1, still looking to reach base for the first time. The Cougar catcher now even in the count 1-1. Agnos has some pretty long outings this season, as you would expect a pitcher of the year in the conference to do. 7 innings against Monmouth, 7+ against Marist, at Maryland. 8 2/3 is his longest outing. That came in conference play against UConn. Perfectly placed is Brady Lloyd. He had to move one step to come away with that liner into center field. 1 out.
Sometimes that's the toughest play to make. You're used to tracking balls down. We saw him catch one in the alley an inning ago on Derek Cherry. And it's coming right at you. You're thinking, do I go left, do I go right, forwards, backwards, and ends up you don't have to move at all.
101 pitches in the game now for Agnos. He threw 110 against Marist. His season high, I believe, came against UConn when he went 8 2/3 and threw 129.
Well, defensive moves have been posted. You've got Baker in center, Worrell over in right field now for ECU.
So giving a little break to Burleson and Lloyd with a 9-run lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Now,
looks like he's taking Brickhouse out. So now post that Burleson has been moved over to first base.
I was going to say the other option with Burleson is if you wanted to move him but keep him in the ballgame, you could pitch him. Foul tip, 87 miles an hour back into the screen. Ian McMillan pinch hitting in the spot of Kobe Highland. McMillan stands there. 6 foot, 165 pounds, a redshirt freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona. He's now even in the count, 2-2. Highland was lifted. Pop foul in his last at bat. So see if McMillan can come through with something here.
13th game. He's had 3 starts, 105. No homers, no RBI.
Agnos with another strikeout. McMillan goes down quietly. 7 Ks in the game now for the pitcher of the year in 2019.
Well, as long as Agnos feels it, they're going to probably keep him in. His next start is likely going to be next week in the NCAA Regional. Outside chance if they would have kept him around 100, maybe give him a short start if they make it to the championship game on Sunday. You may see him Sunday in a little bit of short relief if you need a matchup pitcher.
Just amazing the arms that ECU is able to throw against you as Lyle Lockhart, top of the order, comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. We haven't seen Jake Kuchmaner except wearing the straw hat in the dugout so far in this tournament. We haven't seen Tyler Smith, who leads the team with 14 starts on the year. He's 7-1. To be able to run out that kind of starting pitching after you've already thrown 2 guys in a conference tournament is certainly a boon for the Pirates. This one's hit on the ground, pulled foul left. Nice snag there by a guy at the end of the Cougar dugout, and it doesn't smash our cameraman. Lockhart in today's ballgame has reached on an error. Today he's 0 for 3. How quickly is Agnos working? He's 1 pitch from getting out of the inning. Won't do it. This one lands in shallow center field. Baker picks it up, and a 2-out single for Lockhart, his first hit of the day.
Snaps a streak of 6 in a row, retired, gives him a 2-out runner for Joe Davis.
That one stayed elevated. He was able to easily clean it up, put it into shallow center. Davis struck out, went after some high heat the last time he faced Agnos, and was the 5th strikeout victim of the game.
Hard to believe, Garrett, that this may be the last collegiate at bat for Joe Davis. They're a bubble team, 0-2. Don't know if that's going to bump them off the bubble. Once the committee meets over the weekend, they announce it on a Monday. But it could be the last time we see Joe Davis in a Houston uniform.
Swings at 90.
What a treat it's been to watch him since its freshman year. Boy, he was an impact freshman, blew up on the scene, and really this championship is where really remember that freshman year where he blew up with multiple home runs.
Davis goes after this one. Should find the chairbacks. The Austin, Texas native. In his senior season, the all-time home run and RBI king in this conference. Davis, not quite in the very back of the batter's box, stands as Agnos delivers. Won't offer at that one, 92. You know, there's a lot of history with the Houston baseball program, and for this guy to be standing on top of the record books like he is, it's pretty impressive. We'll let that one go as well. That's 2 in a row to work himself even in the count. Coming out of Bowie High School in Austin, he was drafted in the 16th round by the Tampa Bay Rays, 2015. Was this conference's Rookie of the Year a year later. And make it a second teamer in his senior season. Just so much talent throughout the conference. 2-2 lifted into the air. Baker in center field will call everyone off. And that'll be the third out of the inning. East Carolina rolling here, up 10-1. Joe Davis and the Cougars looking to keep things moving as we head to the top of the 8th inning after this on the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. The beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
The American Digital Network bringing you the championships this year, as they have done every year here in Clearwater. A 10-1 lead for East Carolina, and the Pirates offense coming back to the plate. 1 run in the first, 3 runs in the third, 5 runs in the sixth. They plated another in the 7th with a solo home run. Brayson Herdsman for Houston will try and slow down this offensive attack that's got double-digit hits and runs this afternoon.
Well, Hurd's been trying to stave off elimination after 8 innings as well. Another run by ECU, and then they'll just need 3 outs against the Houston Cougars. Remember, the home team's got a bat, just like full 9-inning game if you get into that 10-run rule. Houston, if they go down, they want to go down fighting all 9 innings. There's no doubt about that. You know, Todd Whitting didn't want to go out of here anything less than 9 innings.
So Herdman will take on Ryder Giles, the third baseman for the Pirates.
He followed Norby after that bases-loaded walk in the 6th with a 2-run single.
9-1-2 coming to the plate for the purple and gold, up by 9. 90 miles an hour, and Giles a little late on it. Today, Ryder 1 for 3, had that big 2 RBI single back in the 6th inning, struck out in his first appearance. East Carolina with a hard-throwing right-hander warming up in the pen. Here's a shot to Highland at shortstop. He'll flip over to first. Plenty of time. Now the top of the order. And the pinch hitter will come to the plate, Nick Barber, after Packard lifted.
They've made some defensive switches for the Houston Cougars now. Fuentes out in left field. Bilobovic stays in center, Lockhart in right. And they have moved McMillan, the pinch hitter, into shortstop. So he remains in the game after coming to the plate in the last inning.
Nick Barber up there hitting .228. He's appeared in 43 games with 14 starts. 13 hits and 57 at-bats. Offers at that one. Barber is a junior from Florida, listed at 6 foot, 180 pounds. Even in the count at 1-1 to Herdsman. Gets into one. Pretty high in left field. And the catch will be made. Well, you come in as a defensive substitution. The ball usually will find you. That was an easy track down there, though.
Yeah, got a little under it, and that wind now has shifted. It was blowing straight out to right earlier in the game, now blowing left to right, so it's going to knock a ball like that down as you see Fuentes get on to the front of the track and haul it in. If that wind's pushing straight out to right, that may find its way over the wall, but now going left to right, nearly blowing straight in from left field.
Turner Brown with one hit today. And some really fine plays at shortstop. It's been that you could depend on him on the left side of the infield for quite some time with ECU. He's already scored a run today as well and dropped a sacrifice bunt. Herdsman powers a fastball to the outside corner. It's ball one.
Impressive thing he does at short. It's not the spectacular plays he makes. It's the routine plays. He doesn't let a ball play himself. Never seems to have trouble with a routine grounder. Sometimes you see the college players, things speed up a little bit.
Herdsman dials it back a little bit there. 82 miles an hour. And he falls behind in the count, 2-1. Brown can't connect there. Herdsman came in the 7th inning, gave up the solo home run to Jake Washer. It was Washer's second home run of the day. Here's the 2-2 to Brown. He's late, fouls that one off the front of the suites here on the first base side. Had a pair of strikeouts and allowed just that one run. He has now set down 3 in a row. And he is just looking to get one more pitch. This one's lifted up into right field. Davis might run out of territory. Settling under it, and it dies in his first baseman's mitt. 4 in a row set down by Brayson Herdsman. 1-2-3 inning for the junior. We'll go to the bottom of make it the top of the 9th inning. We're excited that you're with us here. The American Baseball Championships, more to come after this on the American Digital Network.
We all dream about our next vacation. But some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
We welcome you back in to Clearwater, Florida. 10-1 East Carolina in this elimination game, with a 9-run lead over the Houston Cougars on the American Digital Network. Some defensive substitutions for East Carolina and a new pitcher in the ball game for the Pirates as well. Number 39, Cam Colmore, who will come in behind Jake Agnos, who had a fantastic day, Jeff. He went 7 innings pitched and really limited Houston's offense.
7 innings, 4 hits, just the 1 run it was earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, a wild pitch, 117 pitches. 72 strikes. Cam Colmore, 1-0 in 20 outings, no saves, 4.74 ERA, 19 innings, 25 hits, 14 runs, 10 earned, 12 walks to 20 strikeouts, a .294 average against, pair of wild pitches, and no hit batters. And again, as you mentioned, Kendall now in behind the plate, and they're going to make another move in the outfield They're now going to shift Worrell from right field over to left field. They'll bring in Jenkins to play right, and that'll have Barber now playing first base. So it looks like Burleson's day is now done.
Nick Barber with the pinch hit comes in. He will now relieve Burleson and Brickhouse, who were previously at first base. And you see Jenkins coming in, getting some play late in the back end of this game as well. Colmore will try and finish things off. Houston, the home team, down to their final 6 outs, trailing by 9 runs. Can Colmore deliver the win here? Colmore at 5'11", 175 pounds, a redshirt junior out of Winterville. Jared Triolo will lead things off for the Cougars. I don't know if we quite have the time to go back and look at every American game that Houston has played in this tournament. I don't know if they've ever been held to 1 run, though. Pretty impressive showing by ECU on both sides today, pitching and hitting.
You know, you look at the Houston Cougars, we talked about Joe Davis potentially being the last game he ever plays in college. He's the only senior in the batting order today. Tyler Whitting's got to be excited. Just 1 senior leaving as far as the regulars. They've got a pretty good junior crop here. 3 juniors, Lockhart, Triolo, Blake Way in the lineup, Kobe Highland, sophomore, and a pair of freshmen. So he's going to have a lot coming back next year.
Colmore's offering, put into the air, into the gap, left center field. Trying to track it down. It'll just blast off the wall. Triolo will be standing at second base with a leadoff double. Houston fans finally have something to cheer about here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, got a hold of that one, and he knew it. Rides it in the alley and got it right into that little angle and left center field.
Triolo now with 18 doubles in 2019. That'll bring Bilamovic to the plate. Colmore did face Houston earlier this year. On April 5th, he threw an inning of scoreless relief. A couple of strikeouts, 1 hit.
Houston actually last year against ECU over at Robin Roberts Field held to a run 12-1, and it was ECU who did it.
Whoa. Jeff Sharon would have been able to tell me that.
Off the top of his head.
Worked those games over at Robin Roberts over in the auxiliary complexes. Did a great job. Here's a wild pitch. It gets away from Cadell. Got away from everybody. And that'll put the runner on third base. Nice job by Triolo to move up there on the wild pitch.
We've got what looks like a comfortable 9-run lead with 6 outs to go. The last thing you want to do is open the door a little bit here. Give a few free bases. They get the leadoff double. Turn it into a big inning, and all of a sudden they've got a little momentum with 1 inning to go.
Colmore's 3rd wild pitch of the year in 19 innings. And that fastball went over the top of the head of Bilamovic. Tyler right there. 1 for 3 today. Had a single back in the 3rd. Let's see a replay here. Bilamovic kind of had to hit the deck. Eye level, and he dropped the bat. So Triolo standing off 3rd. This one's hit on the ground. Should plate the run. Norby to first in time. And it's now 10-2. Houston plates a run in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out. So Triolo comes around to score for the first time today. The only other Cougar player today to score a run was Burkell, who drew a walk and scored in the 2nd inning. Here's Derek Cherry coming to the plate now, and Colmore starts him off with a strike. Colmore appeared in 8 games as a freshman in 2016, had to redshirt as a sophomore. He did play in Summer League ball that year out on the Coastal Plain League And then last season, sparingly, 6 games all in relief. So now, moving up on 20 appearances in 2019, more vital piece of the bullpen. Cherry fouls this one off. Count now 1-2. Derek drew a walk in the first inning. He's 0 for 2 since, still looking to get on base with a hit for the first time today. So with the win today, East Carolina would advance and get a day off. Wouldn't play again till later in the week. Here's a ball that just eats up the first baseman Barber and gets all the way into right field. Cherry pulls that to the right side, and the Cougars have another base runner.
A little bit of a high chopper, maybe some top spin there. And again, it's Barber's first inning over at first base. Came in to relieve Burleson.
That ball just jumped up over him.
Had the backhand set right there, but said the top spin raced on him.
Ray Fuentes was playing in left field. They will lift him in favor of Grayson Padgett, a starter from yesterday.
Garrett, just to pass along to our viewers that are going to hang around till the second game that you and Jeff Sharon will call. I know they're all going to stick around to watch the second game. But just received word first pitch for game number 2 will be no earlier, and I'll confirm this, than 7:03 Eastern. So
thank you.
Even if it speeds up a little bit here.
Padgett ahead in the count, 1-0. Now he looks at called strike 1. Padgett in the game yesterday against UConn went 0 for 2. He did draw a walk and later come around to score in a game that was very tightly contested. 4-3. UConn had to walk it off to win it. Padgett swings through that one. Here's another look. Nice pitch. That one just runs away from the left-hander. Colmore dealing with a runner on first base behind him. Trying to get the pinch hitter Padgett out. This one could be 2. It'll have to go over to first base, and it's not in time. Such a high hop through the middle of the infield that everyone's safe for U of H.
Well, that won't go down as an assist or anything for Brown, but it was fun to watch him try to make the play. Number 1, keeps it from going to the outfield on that very high hop. Knew immediately he wasn't going to get 2. Nice throw to first, just had no chance to get him.
Now Brad Burkell will come to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Left-handed hitter. 0 for 2 today. He scored that first run for Houston back in the second inning. Seth Cadell behind the plate for East Carolina. And that one finishes a little bit high.
Double play in order here for Colmore if he can get Burkell to maybe shoot one over to Brown. They will bring Giles in at third. So if he gets a quick one, could go around the horn.
East Carolina also has a senior warming, Zach Barnes, over the left field wall, number 32. Time is called. Cadell will roll out there. So will Giles. And Coach Godwin wants to talk with Colmore, his redshirt junior. I think you just don't want to let anything snowball here. You lead by 8 runs, and Houston is down to their final 5 outs.
Yeah, if I'm Cliff, I'm telling Colmore, look, just keep doing what you're doing. Pound the strike zone. You haven't walked anybody yet. I know you've scattered 3 hits. You've got the lead to work with. Just settle down. Go with the hitters. You got a lot of room to work with. Let's kind of control the damage here. At least Bridges here through the 8th. They can bring in a closer for the 9th if needed.
Burkell, the freshman, hitting over 270 in his rookie campaign. Won't go after the 2-0, and he's worked himself ahead in the count nicely. Kyle Lovelace, the 8-hole hitter, standing on deck. He and Burkell still looking for their first hit here in day 2. Colmore walks him. The bases are now loaded for the University of Houston.
Kyle Lovelace over to a ground and a flyout and a sacrifice. And looks like that's going to do it for Colmore.
We had seen Zach Barnes warming up. Coach Godwin asked for the ball. Colmore's day is done in relief of Jake Agnos. Houston has plated 1 run in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll see how effective they can be against the new reliever trotting in from left field. We'll be back after this on the American Digital Network.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
Houston has loaded the bases. ECU has countered with a senior 6'1" right-hander, Zach Barnes.
Zach Barnes, 2-2 in 23 outings, 1 save, 5.34 ERA, 30 1/3 innings, 43 hits, 19 runs, 18 earned, only 6 walks to 27 strikeouts, 347 averages up a little bit, a walk and 4 strikeouts on the year.
He will face Kyle Lovelace with the bases juiced. I think if you're Coach Godwin, you wanted to maybe finish things out with Colmore, but you'll bring in Zach Barnes, who has pitched in 47 career games, all in relief for the Pirates since coming in from Iowa Western Community College. Another one of those nice arms you can bring out of the pen if you're the Pirates. Lovelace looking for his first hit of the day. Today's 0 for 2. He has laid down a sacrifice bunt. Derek Cherry standing off third. Paget off second. And Brad Burkell, who drew a 4-pitch walk, standing off first. He's well off first, not holding him on. Lovelace won't offer at that. Good zip, though, 92 miles an hour by Barnes. Barnes has limited numbers this year against Houston. He threw a third of an inning. 1-1 back into the mitt, and he gets ahead in the count. That was back on April 5th. No runs, no hits, a strikeout. He did walk a batter.
Lovelace looking to do something Houston's been unable to do today. Get a hit with a runner in scoring position. 0 for 7. They're just 2 for 11 with runners on base today. They've left 7 men on.
Only 1 out of the inning with the bases loaded. Hit right back to the hands of Barnes. He fires over to third, and that's how it rolls. A 1-5 double play. And he'll take all the momentum with him as we close out the 8th inning. Let's see the replay. Fortunate play by Barnes, who comes in, forces a double play, and gets out of the inning. More after this. We'll go to the top of the ninth when we return.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Are you mom? Get set. Let's go. It goes.
Tired, huh?
NBA superstar.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar. Get more out of zero.
Some defensive changes in the field for Houston. The dugout for East Carolina. Calm, cool, and collected right now. They have an 8-run lead in this elimination game on day 2 of the American Baseball Championships presented by Air Force Reserve. Herdsman back out for his 3rd inning of relief. Herdsman has set down 4 in a row since giving up a walk to Thomas Francisco. In left field, we will see Landon Etzel coming into the ball game. So Etzel, the junior, will lift Fuentes. And behind the plate, as always, Lovelace working with Herdsman. There you see Mr. Etzel in left.
Well, barring a major rally, season likely coming to an end for Houston. Maybe they're able to grab one of those at-large bids, but I know they were looking for a win, maybe 2, going 0-2, not going to help that cause. But being in the number 5 conference, hope you tip the scales a little bit and get advantage. And I know Cliff Godwin, very happy to see in that dugout. His guys exploded today for 10 runs on 11 hits. Kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. You regroup now. Tomorrow with the day off, you go back to work on Friday.
Other defensive changes. Grayson Padgett goes to center field. Bilamovich lifts for Lockhart. He will move over to right. First play to Padgett. Going back, 1 pitch, 1 out. Herdsman retires Chandler Jenkins quickly at the plate. Come into the ball game, the ball will find you. Jake Washer was settled to come in. Instead, it will be Cadell, who walks up to the batter's box before Terry Rooney calls time. He wants to talk with Herdsman.
Washeran's today really nice. 3 for 4, pair of home runs, a single, 3 RBI, both of his home runs solo shot. He'll be in the record book now in the American Championships after his 2 home run game.
Washer lifted. Cadell comes in. The right-handed bat will bring a new pitcher in from Houston. We'll tell you all about it when we return here. Game 1 on day 2.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further, let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express, every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American, powered by determination.
New pitcher in the ballgame is a towering Texan from the Spring area, Nolan Bond.
3.43 ERA, 1-2 record, 1 save in 18 outings, 2 starts, 39 in a third innings, 33 hits, 18 runs, 15 earned, 17 walks, 27 strikeouts, a 2.39 average against 3 wild pitches. He's hit 6 batters on the year.
Nolan's first offering to Seth Cadell in his first at bat today, misses the zone. Bond listed at 6'6", 205 pounds. Went to Klein Oak High School in the Houston area. 3-time American All-Academic Team for the Houston Cougars. One of those men who takes the responsibility of being a student athlete seriously. This one's fouled back, and I think that one ran after Lovelace's hand. Home plate umpire is going to do him a favor and might have taken the mid off with the swing. That would be catcher's interference. He'll throw it out there. Looks to be all right. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Seth Cadell, a little experience this year. 29 games, 19 starts, 250, 4 homers, 12 driven in.
Bond with an 87-mile-an-hour offering. Houston at 32-23 on the year. They finished as the 5 seed in our conference during the regular season, Jeff, but if they would have won their final game, which they lost by a single run, they would have been the 2 seed, would have been tied with Tulane. Sometimes that's the way things go.
And maybe would have put them in a little bit better position when they get together on Sunday.
Here's a shot by Cadell that'll drop in the left center field gap. Cadell rounds first base. It's the 12th hit of the ball game for the Pirates.
Long single and a nice job by Cadell to get those arms stretched out. Just a little above the knees, able to extend the arms, drives it in the left center.
Coming up for East Carolina will be Dusty Baker, who got the start yesterday for the Pirates. Sees his first plate appearance this afternoon.
Baker in 49 games now, 23 starts, 207. No 1 home run. He's driven in 9.
That's a fair ball bouncing over the head of Joe Davis. A little double into shallow right field for Dusty Baker. A single, then a double against Nolan Bond. And East Carolina looking to plate a couple more here in the top of the 9th.
Well, they've got a healthy lead, but these guys have not hit yet this game. So enjoying a little time late, even though Cadell and Baker and Worrell now at the plate have seen significant time, trying to get a couple of hits here. If they're going to make a run here and get through the elimination bracket, you're going to have to get into the bench, so get them some live at-bats in championship play.
Worrell fouls that one off. Batting in relief of Brady Lloyd. Worrell's got 2 in scoring position, trying to create an RBI or so against Nolan Bond. Looks like a left-hander warming now for Houston over the left field wall. Bond's 0-1, 88 miles an hour, and the count quickly 0-2. Worrell hitting .228 on the year, 40 appearances, 18 starts. He does have 13 runs driven in. 3 home runs, 3 doubles. He won't offer there.
Well, when Houston comes to the plate, we'll be 9-1-2 left to do something monumental.
A reminder, one more elimination game coming up after this one. Memphis and UCF. That breaks down Lovelace. Worrell, a valuable left-handed bat, stands back in there 2-2. His team leading by 8. Bond stares into Lovelace. He's the third reliever today for the Cougars. And that'll work your count full.
Francisco scheduled to hit. Francisco today. 1-4 times he gets the start at DH. And if he draws the walk, Francisco going to have a chance to hit with the bases loaded. But they've got a pinch hitter up there now, and Jane.
This one's lifted into the air and it'll drop right center field. Cadell comes around to score. Baker comes around to score. A 2 RBI single for Bryson Worrell, who now has 15 runs driven in on the year. It's 12-2.
Just took it over to the right side of the infield. Left it ahead of Burkell. Worrell goes down and out for that one. Strong enough to pull it out in the right center field. Now we'll see Jane pinch hit. And 071 hitter, there for Christian Jane.
East Carolina goes up by 10, bottom of the 9th. Like you said, Houston will have the bottom of the order, 9-1-2 coming to the plate. As we're in the 9th inning, it won't count as a run rule. Right. But it'll certainly feel like one on the bus ride home if Houston's not able to put some more runs on the board. Here's the 1-0 to Christian Jane. You know, basically every spot on the roster today, whether they had somebody come in with a pinch hit or not, was able to produce a hit. 14 hits on the day now for East Carolina. 12 runs scored. No errors in the field. And Jake Agnos is in line to win his 9th game of the season. He would improve to 9-2.
And you never know what motivates a team. Obviously for ECU, they're motivated by NCAA regionals, super regionals, being a national seed. But talking to an official from ECU as he draws the walk today, and a reliable source of mine, that if we don't win today, if we get eliminated, we have to bus back to Greenville. So that plays a big part in winning. We heard Tulane last night in the dugout in their celebration. Excited it's one more day of per diem. So never know what the secondary motivations are for the college athletes.
Starting second baseman today, Connor Norby comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Here's a throw down by Lovelace. That'll keep the runner close. Worrell has to tiptoe back in after that 2 RBI double that he hit. Make it 2 RBI single. Christian Jane, 6'5", the freshman, standing on first base after the walk. Norby with an RBI back in the 6th when the bases were loaded. He drew a walk. Still looking for his first hit today. Bond pumps a fastball in there. It's a little bit low. Coach Godwin's team up by 10 here. Here's a chopper at the plate. This could be trouble on the infield. Burkell over to first. Got it to Joe Davis in time. Just as good as a sacrifice bunt. Now both men in scoring position for the Pirates.
Thought for a second Norby was going to have his first hit on an infield single. Boy, we've seen a couple of balls today, Garrett, hit that hard pan and go high into the air.
Bond sees this one driven through the side into left field. RBI single for Ryder Giles. It's 13-2. And now 3 runs have plated here in the inning.
That was a good move by Cliff Godwin. He just held Jane, the second runner, up at third. He knows he's in really good shape now as it goes to an 11-run lead. No reason to running up. Coach Godwin, Coach Wooding have both been in this league for a very long time. A lot of respect between these two universities and these two ball clubs. They know they're going to run into each other again here in future championships.
The first 3 men that Bond has faced in relief have all eventually come around to score. Now Nick Barber sends one into the air. Padgett tracks it down for the 3rd out of the inning. Top of the 9th is through. We'll head to the bottom of the frame, and Houston, trailing by 11, will come to the plate, trying to put some more runs on the board. Stay with us, folks. The end of this Game 1 on Day 2 is on deck.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Hueso from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
ECU looking for 3 quick outs here to move on and play a winner's bracket game in 2 days. We'll see how quickly the reliever, Zach Barnes, can work through the Houston Cougars, who are trailing now by 11 runs.
Well, the bonus of getting a full 9 innings, Garrett, we should, unless they pinch hit, and I doubt they will, get one more look at Joe Davis' career here at Houston.
Barnes will take on 9-1-2, scheduled to come to the plate here in the bottom of the frame. And for Houston, it'll be Ian McMillan, who came in at shortstop to lead things off. Barnes came on in relief and was able to turn a double play to get out of the last inning. Starts off McMillan with ball 1. This one's hit on the ground. It'll get by the glove of the shortstop. So leadoff single for Houston in the bottom of the 9th inning. For the Cougars, just their 8th hit of the day.
They've scattered around. They left 9 men on base. They've had some guys on base today, but 2 for 12 of runners on and 0 for 8 in runners in scoring position. And you've got to come through in those situations the way that ECU has played offense today and played at 13 runs. It's a matter of trying to keep up with the Pirates today. They just weren't able to do it.
We've seen a lot of substitutions for East Carolina. Still up the middle, though, it's Turner Brown and Norby at shortstop and second. Now Landon Etzel will come to the plate. Runner on first, they won't hold him on. Count now 2-0 to Etzel. Good size up there at the plate. Stands in with a runner on first, nobody out. Etzel hitting .083. And that'll be called strike 1 against him. Just 2 hits in 19 at bats. He does have a double on the year. So some valuable experience for Etzel here in the conference tournament. 88 miles an hour by Zach Barnes. A right-hander is warming up for ECU. Infielders come set. Wind still blowing out pretty hard through right field, benefiting the left-handed batters. Etzel late on the fastball, fouls it back. McMillan will now come off first base. Barnes takes a look at him. He'll work the plate. Payoff pitch to Etzel. Struck him out. Etzel didn't get the bat off his shoulder. There's your first out of the inning.
Here we go. A guy we talked about earlier has 3 records right now in American Championship play. Twice he's had 3 home run tournaments. He's got one here, so we know at least he's got 7 career home runs in the league tournament.
Joe Davis. First pitch swinging. Could be 2. 6, 4, 3. ECU wins it 13-2 in an elimination game against the Houston Cougars. A successful day here on day 2 for the purple and gold. And that'll end the season for the University of Houston, at least during this portion of it. Not the day they wanted offensively, Jeff, though we did see some pretty good pitching at times for the red and white.
Got out of a few jams, just not enough. ECU a little bit too much. They had suffered back-to-back losses against Memphis and Wichita State. Only the 3rd time this year they doubled up losses. The back's against the wall. Hey, that's a good test for Cliff Godwin. That's what he's going to talk about maybe today, and maybe if he makes a run to Sunday, as we got a chance to face some adversity late in the year. Things were going pretty well for us, and maybe that's the test this team needs going into next week toward the regionals.
Well, ECU will possibly take on UConn or Tulane when they see them again. We'll see how the tournament plays out. But a 13-2 victory for the Pirates over the Cougars. We'll take a quick break and we'll return after this. You're watching the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve.
Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Our Haley Outen down on the field with a victorious Cliff Godwin. Haley?
Coach, you went with your ace today, Jake Agnos, in a winner-go-home situation. How vital was it for him to go 7 innings for you? The back-to-back home runs in the 3rd. How did that ignite your offense today?
It was Washer right behind, and Washer got really at the end of the day, we're ready to play.
The postseason is all about being battle-tested, and after losing to the 8 seed yesterday, what did your team prove today to come out and convincingly beat a really good Houston team?
Well, when we show up and we have that mindset of play energy and just compete our tails off, a lot of times when we come out and just kind of show up, then we can be beat. Anybody can beat us, and Wichita State played a lot better than us yesterday.
All right, thanks, Coach. Enjoy the day off. We'll see you Friday.
Thank you.
Haley, we appreciate it. 13 runs on 15 hits, no errors in the field. 2 runs on 8 hits for Houston and 3 errors. We have a chance to go back down on the field with Haley, who's got our player of the game.
In game 1 yesterday, as a team, what was the attitude coming out here today in this winner-go-home situation?
Yeah. Our game today, and you should be doing everyone on the offense and not me, because putting up 13 runs against God and stat.
So some technical difficulties down on the field, but a good game for all right, a 13-2 victory for East Carolina. We apologize for the technical difficulties there, but the highlights aplenty for the Pirates today as they win it in a game that they had to have for their season to continue here in Clearwater. 3 home runs, including back-to-back jacks in the middle of the ballgame by Alec Burleson and Jake Washer, put them ahead. For Houston, 2019 comes to a close. East Carolina, more to come here at the American Baseball Championships presented by the Air Force Reserve. For Jeff and Haley, I'm Garrett. Stick with us, folks. One more elimination game to come this evening on the American Digital Network.